And live. Hello, everyone. This is just a general chat. Hopefully not too long. Just a few little things going through my mind, and it's only a small mind, so there's not much going on there. Normally it's Q&A, so questions and answers. People asking questions, expecting to get answers, and the similarities that there is between Forrest Fenn and the JCB hunt. I think that people have forgotten how difficult it was in the thrill of the chase to understand what Forrest Fenn was saying and how much criticism there was because of how Forrest said what he said and the words that he used that didn't make sense. So I think, and I wasn't there at the beginning, so I don't know, but I think those people that have been in the chase a long time understand that people had no idea what Forrest was talking about. Hi, NFJ, how you doing? Just a few, general chats, nothing amazing. But people had no idea what Forrest was talking about. And the JCB hunt is no different at first glance. People are choosing not to take part because they think that, it's all a bit like that question or exclamation. And that's no different than Forrest was. People were looking at what he wrote and say, well, why has he put that there? What does that word mean? Why is that word there? Why has he done this? Why has he done that? And they still took part in the chase. And JCB's doing something similar, and they're trying to call him out for it. And probably rightly so. These things are a bit weird, and he said this, but that's no different to what Forrest did. And that didn't put people off. It's crazy to think that people are judging so harshly after going through the thrill of the chase. To me, it doesn't make... Hello, Ben. You're on my title page, I think. Whether it be you or Ashley and Mama Q. Missed, no offense, Ben. Missed Ashley and Mama Q, their chats, and surprised that there weren't any. But I hope that you and the family and everybody are okay in this time. Hey, Tigger, how you doing? And I hope you're in Santa Fe and you have, the handle and the shovel, or different words, scoop and new name, however that goes. And Ben, I'm holding you to the 25th. No excuses. 25th, that's what you said. Please say now if that's changed. If it hasn't, all well and good. But if it has, I'd like to know, because I don't really want to wait up and then, nothing happens. I wouldn't be thinking nice thoughts about you if I waited up to the stupid hours in the morning and you didn't go live. So I'm glad you're here. I do appreciate you popping in. But I would like to know if you're definitely going to go live, if it's still on. Hope you're enjoying Santa Fe. Say hello to Charlotte for me. I hope all is going good. And that's a truthful statement. I hope everything's going good. So people are... Sorry, I'm just wandering off from talking to you, Ben, but people are really giving JCB a hard time, and it's no different than what Forrest Fenn did. Not at all. No different at all. The absolute, we don't know what the heck Forrest Fenn is saying is no different than you don't know what JCB is saying. And to choose, and I don't care, I'm not the PR for the JCB. I'm not part of JCB. But I just find it silly that people make these statements that, like, I don't know, David says, David Paisano says, for my information, nothing to do with Forrest Fenn. Don't take any notice of what David Paisano says. Not being nasty, but, I don't know how many times I've said it. I only listen to Forrest. So I respond to what people say, but does that affect my judgment? No. I just talk about what I believe that Forrest has said and react to what people say. And most of what I say to those people is, Forrest said this, or I said this, not as a reaction to what they say. More, I suppose it's a reaction to what they say, but I'm not trying to defend myself in anything that other people say, merely pointing out what it is that Forrest said and what it is that I said. Hasn't changed. Woohoo! Looking forward to that. Yes, I think we all are. Won't be news, but maybe the promise of news. Yeah, it's all good. You need to have a shave though, mate, if you haven't already shaved. I think that's what people are looking for. Don't think, I'm looking, October, end of October, for an important date in the history of everything that's happened. All the other stuff is, the build up to something. There's a fortnight where some things could happen. Very important things, I think, that could have an impact. It's bonfire night here on November the 5th. There's an election there on November the 5th. Could be fireworks in both places, to be fair, so it should all be good. While I am not actively, well, I suppose I will actively, but I'd like to be interested in what's going on in the JCB hunt. I find it difficult to understand people who are negative to it, because as of yet, what I've heard is no different to what happened in the Thrill of the Chase. In fact, it's probably the same, but with a little bit more information. The snow and the grid search and everything else, you've all had that in the Thrill of the Chase. The words that don't mean what you think they do, the information that doesn't mean what you think it does, it's no different than the Thrill of the Chase. And, I made the statement, I don't know if David took it in or not, David Paisano, but whether directly or indirectly, the JCB hunt is connected to the Forrest Fenn Thrill of the Chase. Even if it's only for that $5 pickle jar, olive jar, whatever it is. I don't know the reason behind it. The total ignoring the fact, totally ignoring the fact, not just the jar, but what was in the jar. Totally ignoring it is beyond me. It really is beyond me. It's like you're ignoring the information that was in the pickle jar or the olive jar, however you want to remember it, however fondly that is. You're ignoring the fact there is information in that pickle jar which is related to the Forrest Fenn Thrill of the Chase. And nobody knows what that is yet. But it's related to the Forrest Fenn Thrill of the Chase. And the person who set this hunt up has that pickle jar. So directly or indirectly, JCB, John Collins Black, has a connection to the Forrest Fenn Thrill of the Chase. Now, I'm not saying, it could be, but I'm not saying that Forrest Fenn is JCB or JCB is Forrest Fenn, and that John Collins Black And I'm just going to say John. Sorry, John, but that's how it's going to be. John is not Forrest, and Forrest is not John, in the sense that we see this person named John who has a family, etc., 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 and he hid 5 chests. And I'm not saying that this person hid all the chests, did the Forrest Fenn thrill of the chase, etc., but I'm saying there's a connection. Stop ignoring the connection. The connection is there is a olive pickle jar that had in it some information that everybody in the thrill of the chase was interested in knowing, and the one person that could tell us that is John. There's a connection. If it is, we don't know. It could be empty. It still connects it to Forrest Fenn, even though it's only worth $5, this pickle jar. But if the information is still in that pickle jar and the pickle jar is not open, how is that not connected to the thrill of the chase? Now, until you know the facts, until it all comes out, and we know that the olive jar is empty, it's been opened, and the information's come out, and John is not going to tell anybody about this information, then fine, we just have a pickle jar. Or if the Forrest Fenn thrill of the chase poem is not used in any way, shape, or form, then we just have a pickle jar. And if Forrest didn't live at 1021 Old Santa Fe Trail, and that has nothing to do with Eva Hunt, then we just have a pickle jar. But even if we just have that pickle jar, it's connected to Forrest Fenn. So I'm not saying, even though it could be, what if? Don't think of the what ifs. Even though it could be, the pickle jar is still connected to the thrill of the chase. That's it. At the least, that's it. And at the most, it could be something more. That's up to you to decide. I'm not bothered if we do or we don't. Just please stop trying to put words into my mouth and ignore the facts that I state. These are facts. If the poem from Forrest Fenn is, and that's another thing before I carry on, in KPRO show, I'm not getting a KPRO anymore, I'm just saying, these are facts. In the show, stipulated that he was a published poet or something. Well, if there is a poem in his book, then he's a published poet. That's it. It's a truthful statement. If there is a poem in his book that he's published, he's a published poet. Well, yeah, a published poet. That's it. It doesn't have to, like, there's no, they make it seem like it's a conspiracy and that all these things are, difficult to understand. And they may be. But it may just be simple enough that he wrote a poem, it's in the book, so he published it, and he became a published poet because he published that poem in the book. Or he published the poem in the children's book. Or he published a poem in both of those books. But he's now a published poet. It's like, why are we already trying to look at these difficult scenarios when there's just a simple, well, it could be this. Olive jar. Pickle jars are not shaped like olive jars. No, I'm just saying it for these people that think of all this conspiracy stuff. I know it's an olive jar, but it was called a pickle jar. Is that intentional? Isn't it intentional? Do you want to go with the pickle jar? Do you want to go with the olive jar? Do whatever you want. But people make statements, and I just think, how is that such a difficult thing to understand? It is related to the Forrest Fenn thrill of the chase because of even if it's empty, even if the jar is empty, this $5 olive jar, pickle jar, whatever you want to call it, whatever John wants to call it, it's related to the Forrest Fenn thrill of the chase, just for that empty jar. But then if you factor in everything else, it's more related to the Forrest Fenn thrill of the chase. That doesn't say that Forrest Fenn did this. That says it's related. It's related. If he published a poem in the book, then he's a published poet. That's it. That's as simple as it could be. It could be more. There could be other stuff. But it's like, well, I don't find that difficult to understand. It's like, why are you grasping for other things that he wrote a poem, it's in his book, or he may have wrote one in the children's book. I don't get it. I don't see why there's, I think it's all, conspiracy, something's wrong. We don't even know anything yet, haven't had the book. And I asked a question in the chat, in Mark and KPRO's chat, and it just flew over everybody's head. The question is, are all the clues in the one book to find the 5 chests? And the answer is yes. So why are you worried about buying the other children's book if there's a clue in it? The information in that one book, according to John, is enough to find the chests. That's it. Why is everybody worried about anything else? The question was, can you find the 5 chests with the one book? And the answer is yes. And even on his website, that question's there. So you only need one book to find the 5 chests. You only need one book to find the 5 chests. That's it. Why are you worried about buying another book? And I asked another question. If you were in the hunt for a year and you couldn't find any of the chests, would you be happy getting another book? Like, would you want to receive another book that would help you to try and find it? Like, people are already moaning, well, if I have to buy another book, maybe I'm not interested. But if you don't solve it within the first year, 2 years, 3 years, would you like to have more information that would help you find it? I think, yeah, you probably would. So to already criticize the fact that you have to get another book to get a clue, that's up to you. All the answers are in the one book. If you think that buying another book helps you, get the other book. And if you don't, and you don't want to buy another book, don't get the other book, because all the information is in the one book. That's it. Why are you worried about the other book? If all the information that you need is in the one book, remember we've had this with Forrest, the information's in the poem. If all the information is in that book, guess what you need? That book. That's it. You need that book. If you can't solve it by just having that book, and by solve it, I mean find at least one of them, but you could potentially find all of them. If you can't do it with that, then buy the other book and see if you can use the clue that's in the other book. And if you still can't do it, then buy another book if John brings out another book. And if you still can't do it, buy another book. But you're already getting way ahead of yourself. You haven't got the book yet, and all the information to get all the answers to all the chests is in the one book. So just buy the one book and get on with it. The sooner you get the book, and the sooner you pay attention to detail, then you have a head start on everybody else. It's nice to see people that were in the chase, coming back, and going forward, that'd be nice to see. And whilst I might be, flitting in and out and talking to people and, whatever, I may not be actively trying to find 5 chests from John. That's no reflection on John, just, it's just how it is. I'm a published poet. Yeah, and probably is. If he wrote a poem or, added to the poem and published it, then that makes it a published poet, as far as I can see. I like pickled olives better than non-pickled olives. Hi, Trusted. How you going? How's it going, Five Leaf? So are you joining the John hunt, the JCB hunt? Actually, TTR. No, TTI. So TTI is probably TTIH. I can't really say titty. The titty hunt. That won't be good. The tie hunt. So TTI for me. Tie hunt is a lot better, a lot easier than there's treasure inside. Hunt. The tie hunt. Tie hunt. Got a stutter. So will you be joining in? But I don't see, although, I'm one to talk because, I can't really talk to Dave and other people. I can afford to spend the money to buy the book. But in my circumstance at the moment, you know, I've retired on my own. My money has to last until I officially retire, until the government give me the money back. So at the moment, I'm living on a pension or two pensions that I took out, privately. And that may last me, a long time. But if I spend money, hand over fist, then it isn't going to last me. So at the moment, I'm concerned about how much money I spend and what's going to happen in the future. So I don't see, me personally, from what I've heard so far, I don't see that there's any issues with what's happening. I see that it's going the same way that Forrest Fenn's hunt went when he first started. That people didn't understand half of what Forrest Fenn was saying, didn't understand the words. Forrest Fenn said he did some, things that people wouldn't do, which set him apart from other people. So the information that's coming out, while it's a bit dubious, that's no different than what Forrest Fenn was. People were complaining about all the contradictions. Oh, look, we've got contradictions. But that's exactly as it was. It's like, how can you forget those things? How can you forget about all the contradictions that there were in the Forrest Fenn hunt? And now we have another hunt with a lot of contradictions. That doesn't mean to say that there's, and it's difficult to say this because of the nothing is as it seems, but it doesn't mean to say that there's a Blackbeard hunt about this. It was Blackbeard, wasn't it? The one that didn't go well. But that hunt that didn't go well. That doesn't mean to say that. That just means to say it seems to be playing out in a similar way that Forrest Fenn's hunt played out. Now, in order for John to get the hunt started, there are many outlets that can be used. But there are also many people to attract. To attract those people that are in the Forrest Fenn through the chase, that's going to be the hardest because they're already against the hunt. Their first instinct is, no, this one hasn't ended. I'm not doing another one. So they're going to be the hardest people to win over. If you've never been in the Forrest Fenn hunt ever, then you'll probably be easier to win over because you're just thinking, all you'll know is, look, here's some strange man giving away treasure, and it's worth a lot of money. Now, again, I mentioned in Mike and KPRO show that they had it down as $1 million hunt, and yet they're questioning whether it's 2 million or 10 million. But their information was incorrect anyway. It was down as $1 million hunt, and it's like, well, who are you going to blame for that? So, was it planned to be incorrect, or was it just, mislabeled incorrectly? If it doesn't matter, if everything you need is in the book, if everything you need is in the book to find 5 chests that have different degrees of treasure in them, or different amounts of treasure, however you want to word it, like big chests with, it could be a bigger chest with less monetary value. It could be a bigger chest with less monetary value, smaller chest with more monetary value. You don't know. You don't really know what's in the chest, but you do know it's going to be worth a lot of money. Whichever chest you find, whichever of those chests you find, is going to be worth a lot of money. So now you've got to think, do I want to take the bet? Do I want to spend however much money it is to buy the one book that has all the answers to find the 5 chests? Do I want to take this bet? Do I trust myself enough to be able to read this book, find the answers, and find at least one chest. So therefore you have your odds. I'm going to spend this much money to earn roughly this much money. That's it. That's all you need to work on. Do I have enough confidence in me to be able to read this one book that has an opportunity to find one or all of the 5 chests? Would I be able to do that? If you think you can do that, do that. Do that. But all of this, well, this has happened and that's happened and this has happened and this has happened, and it's like, well, that's no different than the hunt we've just done. None at all. No difference at all. And you did that hunt for one chest for potentially less money than is worth now. Now, the fact that Bitcoin is used means that the value will change. That's just fact. There's no big conspiracy or subterfuge. The fact that Bitcoin is mentioned, and it could go down. Bitcoin has gone down, so depending on when you find it, you're probably better off finding it when there's a bull run, and it's worth more money than you are when it's not. But the fact that there is Bitcoin in there, multiple Bitcoin, it says. So the fact that there is Bitcoin in there means the price might change. And if Bitcoin is worth 100 grand, then 1 Bitcoin is 100 grand. 10 Bitcoin, you're laughing. So because you don't know how many Bitcoin are in there, and there's multiple Bitcoin, could be 1 in each chest for all we know. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what it is. Don't go jumping at me if there isn't. But if there's multiple, that means there's more than 1. Which means if it's only worth 50, I know it's worth more, but if it's only worth 50 grand, that means 2 of them worth 100 grand. Or if there's 1 in each chest, multiple, that means each chest is already worth $50,000, not counting anything else that's in there. So being bogged down with, well, I think the card might be worth this much, but it could be worth this much. You could say that about Bitcoin or anything. Well, it might be this much, but it could be worth this much. What you need to just focus on is if it is only worth 2 million for 5 chests, if it's only worth that, it's still 500,000. 500,000, 400,000, 400,000, 400,000. It's worth 400,000. If it's 2 million over the 5 chests, roughly. One chest might be worth 600,000, and one might be worth 300,000. It's still a lot of money. As a bet, I'm going to buy this book. I reckon I can solve it and find one of the chests, and it's going to net me 300,000. That's how I see it anyway. I like Forrest Fenn's life story. I'm not going to play hide and seek with every rich person to dangle a story out into the public. No, that's fair enough, but you don't know what the story is. And from the sounds of it, there's more puzzles than games in this story. I don't even know if there is a real story. I don't know anything about the book, so I don't know how much of a story there's going to be, as opposed to how much it's going to be explaining how the puzzles and the games, are going to work. But, I understand what people are saying. It's just the not wanting to do it because you don't want to do it. I can understand that. But making excuses, I don't understand that, because the excuses that you're making don't hold water. You're basically saying, I don't want to do this hunt because it's the same as Forrest Fenn's. What? But you did Forrest Fenn's hunt. How can you say you don't want to do this hunt because it's exactly the same as the hunt that you've just done? Unless you're going to, try and say, well, the ending's rubbish. But you haven't had the ending yet. So how can the ending be rubbish? What you've done is you've walked out of the cinema because the credits have played. Like, oh, there are the credits, must be finished. And off you went. That was a boring ending. Didn't like that ending at all. Rubbish. And then while you're out and, getting your sweets and your crisps and your popcorn and everything else and walking down the street arm in arm with your partner, the ending comes up on the screen. The real ending. The real ending. The ending that you missed because you walked out because you thought, well, that's it. Credits. Must be over. And you haven't seen what happened at the end of the film. And you'll forever, unless somebody tells you what the answer is, you'll forever think, well, that was a crap ending. Don't really know what happened. You got up and walked out. What was Forrest's great lesson that younger people learned? What was Forrest's great lesson that younger people... I don't know, I'm not a young person. Can't answer that. I'll take the fifth. Don't be a sellout, be a maverick, if you understand what that is. Yeah, I don't think I've been a sellout. Well, I've just proven that I'm not a sellout. And I'm not a maverick, though. That's for sure. Wasn't his lead lesson to be indirect and sell fakes, though? Yeah, but I don't think it was that you sell fakes to people. I think it's that you could sell fakes to people and they know they're fakes. That's what you need to take out. I'm selling you a fake and you go, oh, yes, please, thank you. Not I sell you a fake and you don't know about it and you bought it and then you're going to come back to me and go, oh, it's a fake, it's a fake. But I told you it's fake. Here you go, here's a fake. And you went, yeah, I love that. That's what he did. This is fake. Do you want to buy it? Yeah, but it's fake. Yeah, but it's a good fake, isn't it? Well, actually, yeah, it is. Actually, yes, I will buy it. So he's telling you, whilst he's selling you a fake, it's good. And it will be worth your while buying it. And you're both happy. You have this fake that you're happy with, and you paid him to have this fake that you're happy with. As opposed to you paid him for a fake that you're not happy with. There's a big difference in that. And there's a big difference in the fact that you know it's a fake as you bought it from him. So a big difference in that lesson. You'd have to prove to me that there were insiders in the way that you mean it. So, if people knew what the answer was, literally knew what the answer was. But there's a difference between knowing the poem, here's the poem, this is what you need to get the answers. Do you want to get involved? Yeah, we'll get involved, blah, blah, blah. There's a difference between that and actually saying, right, I'm going to set this up. This is where it really is. And I just want you to pretend that you're searching for it. Now, you could level those things at maybe Dale and Cynthia and Justin. The fact that they went on so many, boots on the ground. But that's just for me, it's hard to believe. Really hard to believe that they're not doing that as part of the chase, as opposed to they're just random people who just turned up, who did 600 boots on the ground, stuff the money, stuff the, everything else. I've got all the time in the world, it may be true, but it's hard to believe, is what I'm saying. So there is that. Hey, Woody, what about everything may not be what it seems? Lessons plural, not singular. Yeah, 100% agree with that, which is why I'm, saying what I'm saying. It's like, but, everybody's already being negative as they were in the Forrest Fenn for the chase, even though they're told words don't mean what you think they do, and nothing is as it seems. It's like you're, and again, it goes into, are they really searching or are they just part of this cause enough chaos and nobody really knows what the answer is? But if you're told that nothing is as it seems and words don't mean what you think they do, why do you get upset when you hear about Jack? or anything else that happens, because that's not what it seems. So if that's not what it seems, then you should be thinking, well, what is it then? Instead of jumping up and down saying, no, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, I don't believe it. Well, you're not supposed to believe it. That's what you're being told. Don't believe it. It's not what it seems. The fact that you jump up and down saying you don't believe it means you're not listening to what you're being told. Things are not what they seem. You're not supposed to believe it. So why are you jumping up and down saying, I don't believe it, I don't believe it? You're told what the answer is. There you go. I'm telling you. Think, not me, Forrest. I'm telling you, things are not what they seem. And these words that you read or I've said, they don't mean what you think they do. So why are you jumping up and down and hating on Forrest? He's told you what the answers are. You just have to listen and understand what they are. And that's no different than what's happening with John in his hunt. He's made statements that don't mean what you think they do, or there is some contradiction. Exactly the same as Forrest Fenn. Exactly the same. That's what Forrest Fenn was criticised for most. Forrest Fenn, you're contradicting yourself. Forrest Fenn, you're contradicting yourself. Forrest Fenn, you're talking in circles. Forrest Fenn, Forrest Fenn, Forrest Fenn. Well, actually, no, you just call him Fenn, which I think is, is a bit of an insult, but there you go. That's like, school teachers talking to children. It's just crazy, that is. No respect there. Who's negative? I'm a kid in the future asking for an old man's honesty. But if you heard him, he said to Dale, you will, well, I'm just paraphrasing, don't jump up and down. You'll know, but now is not the right time. He's told everybody. He gave you that message. Will we ever know? Yes, you will know, but now's not the time. Can't tell you now. So you're going to know, and you've had the honesty. You've had it. But you didn't hear it. You didn't hear him say it. Well, he said it. It was put out there for you. You will know. You will know the answers. You just won't know now. So you know, or you should know, you're going to get the answers. You're going to get the honesty. You're going to get everything that this was about. Well, however much Forrest is going to give you about it, but you're going to know what this was about. In the sense that he said you will get answers. Just not at that time that he was talking to Dale. So that must tell you, if you have any faith in a maverick at all, that must tell you you're going to get answers. Come hell or high water, you will get answers from Forrest in whichever medium that Forrest chose to give you those answers. And you know that you're going to get those answers because he said it to Dale. The one person that was championing, that's the right word, the cause of Jack's a jerk. Forrest told you that this person that is his friend, who wants to know if he's going to get answers, told everybody, this person that is his friend is going to get answers, just not now. He wants to give his friend these answers, but he can't give him those answers now. Which means no insiders. There are no insiders. This person who is his friend is basically saying, Forrest, man, please, Forrest, tell me what this is all about. And Forrest says, I can't tell you now, mate. I can't tell you now. But I promise I will tell you. You will know. This person who is his friend that he doesn't tell. So even if you don't believe in Forrest, you probably believe in Dale. You probably believe that he's pissed and he wants to know. That he feels his friend let him down. That he feels he would not know in that moment. And Forrest said, yeah, you will know. You will know. I just can't tell you now. I don't see what's wrong with that. I really don't. To me, that just says, okay, it's not finished. And at some point, it will be. And Forrest will tell Dale and whoever else and the rest of us, and we'll know. That's it. And I think when we know and we understand how this happened, then we'll have more confidence in, what John's doing in his hunt. I'm simple. I need direct answers from Forrest. You had a direct answer. That's exactly what I'm saying. And you're still not hearing it. He cannot tell you now. Like, you're not his best friend, Five Leaf. You're not his best friend. And you're probably not, the highest on the list of friends that Forrest had. He's not telling his best friend, so he's not going to tell you. But I can assure you, I have enough faith in Forrest and Dale that Forrest is going to tell Dale. And at the point that he tells Dale, he tells everybody. Because he will tell Dale, and Dale will tell everyone. So whether Forrest tells everybody or not, you can be sure, and I think he will, but you can be sure that he is going to let Dale know what the answers are. Absolutely. And there are probably other people that he will. But you have it on record that that's what he said. And there was no reason not to believe it. None. There is no reason not to believe what Forrest Fenn said based on everything that he's said in the past. The only thing is your own bias about what you think happened in the thrill of the chase and how good your solve is. That's the only thing that won't let you believe that he said to Dale, you will know. I just cannot tell you now. And that's just paraphrased, but that's basically what it is. I can't tell you now. Now is not the time. I can't tell you now. So from that statement, you're going to know. You're going to know. Just not at this moment in time. And you know that Jack's a jerk out of Dale's own mouth, and out of his own mouth is, he doesn't mean that nastily, but Jack is a jerk. No direct answers from Fenn. Fenn is past tense. No more direct answers from him. No, it doesn't matter whether you get direct answers from Forrest. What matters is that you get direct answers and that they are from a source that is credible based on the information they were given about the thrill of the chase. That's the important thing that you need to know. The information is going to come from a credible source that has given information about the thrill of the chase. And that, I believe, will not be questioned. Will not be questioned. Again, I'll go back to, there are 2 hairs, or however many hairs were put in there. They weren't put in there for nothing. They were put there to tell you about this crazy fool who did this thing. However that statement was. That's going to have to come out. At some point, those hairs, they haven't turned up. Why haven't they turned up? But they must turn up. Just like all the treasure that was in the chest must turn up. Must do. It's a given. If you have any faith at all in Forrest Fenn, all of these things must happen. The CNN announcement, I believe that he said KPRO show. It will be announced. Whether that's KPRO's The Hint of Riches or KPRO and Mike's, Calazar's show. I believe those things will happen because that's what Forrest Fenn said would happen. So the direct answers, wherever they come from, whoever they come from, will be because of Major Forrest Burke Fenn. That's how those answers will get to you. And again, it's all about directly or indirectly. This person named Major Forrest Burke Fenn, or the person that is involved in the thrill of the chase when the thrill of the chase was in play. So what Forrest told kids in the future, that you're not a winner because we said so. Isn't that right, friends? You're not a winner because we said so. So what Forrest told kids in the future, that you're not a winner? No, he's saying you're not a winner because you didn't win. That's it. See, this is not, these. I'm not getting at you, liberal views, whatever. This is not a woke thing that you all get praised because you took part, which I think is ridiculous. I went to one of those school hunts and it's like, go everyone, go everyone, go everyone. What's the point of racing? There is no point in racing. There is no point in racing if you just want everybody to win. Just let's walk down the track and all cross the line together. What the heck is that? Somebody's going to be a winner. Someone is going to be a winner. Someone is going to be a winner. Based on their merit, not because they're black, not because they're a woman, not because they're transgendered. In this thrill of the chase, the person will have to earn it, Forrest said. He didn't say, well, you're going to win because you got this solve, or you're going to win because you got this solve, or you're going to win because you got that solve, or you're going to win because you're white, or you're going to win because you're black. He said they will have to earn it. Good old-fashioned values. Earn it. If you want it, earn it. I'm not going to give you it, which is what he said. I'm not giving it away. Somebody asked him about giving it away to the cosmos. He said, no, I'm not giving it away. They're going to have to earn it. This is not a treasure hunt that is about, well, okay, if he wanted to give it to a redneck with 12 kids, he'd go, there you go, Mr. and Mrs. Redneck, with 12 kids and a grandma. There you go. There's a chest. That's what he'd do. If he was a liberal in this day and age, I'm doing a treasure hunt, but I want a redneck with 12 kids and throwing grandma in the back with a bread roll, whatever he said, bed roll, not bread roll, bed roll. I want a redneck to find it. Where's the nearest redneck with 12 kids? There you go. That's where it is. It's not what he said. Well, it's what he said that he wanted, but that's not what he'd do. He wouldn't just go, oh, well, where's the nearest redneck? Let me give them the chest. So you're going to have to earn it. And if you didn't win it, you didn't win it. Whether you think you won it or not. That's basically like saying, play a game of football and you really want to win that badly. You're not listening to what the ref's saying. No, you didn't get a touchdown. No, you didn't get a conversion. Yeah, but I'm sure I did. No, you didn't. You must have imagined that. So the person who earned it will be the person who earned it. That's it. And the information will not be contestable. It should be so obvious that you just think, well, why don't I think of that? There you go. There's your answer. And you go, oh, wow, that was easy. Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I think of that? That's how it should be. And as of yet, I haven't heard a solve, not one, that I thought, well, mind you, I probably did think of it, but why didn't I think of that? And I can't use me because I did a lot of solves. So anybody else in the trusted is not going to turn around and go, well, why didn't I think of that? He ain't smart man. He ain't going to turn around and go, why didn't I think of that? Not the solves that he's heard. Well, I don't think you are trusted, are you? You're going to turn around and say, why not I think? Did you, trusted, turn around and say, why don't I think of the solve that Five Leaf Blaze did? Did anybody in chat go, oh, I wish I thought of that solve? No, this isn't going to happen. This isn't going to happen. Anybody's solve. I haven't heard a solve that, and again, not because I don't like Dave. I think Dave's all right. He just, man from the East, that is. No one's going to think, why don't I think of that solve? Palisades Hill, Agua Fria, Eagle's Nest, whatever, all that place around there, Simon Canyon. I've been there, done it. Ask Dale. I sent him an email when I was first in the chase about the War Memorial helicopter, and he basically sent an email back saying, yeah, you and everybody else. It's like, everyone's done it. Everybody's done that solve. But they didn't use comics. Everybody's been in that area. Everybody's covered that area. Not everybody. Those that are in New Mexico that had the solve around Angel Fire, Agua Fria, Cimarron Canyon, Eagle's Nest, I always forget it. Always comes to me the Pinkerton, because of the Pinkerton Agency, because that was another thing. Oh man, the Scout Place, Philmont. Get it when I say Scout Place, the Philmont Ranch. And I even sent Forrest an email because of the shoes that they throw up on the entrance. Well, there's a load of shoes there. And we get that even here. Like, you walk down the street and you see somebody's thrown a shoe on a telegraph wire. So how do you get that there? But in that area, it's been flooded with people. Even if they weren't searching, they probably parked in that car park to go searching somewhere else. The Red River solves. People have been there. It doesn't matter which way you go in Red River, there's a solve. If you went, I suppose, west and down south, Red River, if you went that way, there's a solve that way. If you went right and going up to, I can't remember what it's called now. I think that's something to do with verde green. But if you went right, there's a place on the right. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. But there's also I don't know, what to call it, a hall or something, like a place where people go and dance and do things. I can't remember what it's called. But there's a hidden place. You go past that place that's on the left, go up, and then further on the right, there's a hidden place down there. That could be a solve, and I can't remember what it's called now off the top of my head. 5 years ago, but there's solves everywhere. Like, you can literally shut your eyes, a bit like Dave Paisano says, shut your eyes, throw a dart into the map and go, boom, that's Warm Waters Holt. Or that's the Homer Brown, or that, whatever. The only thing you can't choose is the blaze, because you don't know what the blaze is. And most people have a solve, choose a Warm Waters Holt, and then look for a blaze. I have no idea what it is, but whatever looks like a blaze, they'll have that. And it's like, no, that's not how we want you to solve it, in my opinion. But, what do I know? Oh, that's all where we are. So I just don't get how people are still questioning what Forrest did. That to me is just like mind-blowing, that you're questioning what Forrest did with the information you were given. So before it ended in 2020, before it ended, you were told to think nice thoughts. Before it ended, think nice thoughts, and told, that's me taking flack. Why do you think you were given that video? And drain the pond. Not related to Trump. Well, it might be, but that's the swamp. But drain the pond. So there's drain the pond, there's taking flack, there's think nice thoughts. There's something else as well. I can't remember what it was. And then the chest is found. And then nobody has a nice thought to say about Forrest Fenn. Even though he asked you to in, January 2020 or whenever it was said. And I'm thinking, what the heck's going on here? They've already been told this is how it's going to play out. You need to have faith in me. You need to believe in me. You need to think nice things about me, as bad as it's going to get. But this is how it's got to be, because I've got to make it happen the way that it's supposed to be. You're told before it happens that this is the scenario that you've got. He's taking flack, but you need to think nice thoughts. You're told that before it's found, and then totally ignore it. Totally ignore it. And I'm thinking, what? What the heck's going on here? And that was my first, introduction to Barbara and Brutal Truth. The people on the Brutal Truth. I hadn't even heard of them. had no knowledge of these people until the chest was found. Didn't know about Barbara, didn't know about Brutal Truth, didn't know the people that were on that show, didn't even know Davey, knew Street, knew the other Dave that was on those shows. Didn't know any of those people. The people that I really knew or, had an idea about was AGK, Sasha, Who's Your Sisters, Man Alone, them sort of people. Mike, not KPRO, just Mike. Those sort of people were the people that I knew. Brick Chaser, Paul, them sort of people. And it's like, I didn't know, like when people talked about these other people, the Stephanies and the Flip Side and those people, I'm like, who are these people? I don't know these people. They're not here anymore. So I didn't know them. And I saw a Who's Your Sister video the other day, a wedding video, which was nice. Left a message there. So I suggest you go and see that and just say hello to her, because or them, or however it is. I think it'd be nice for people in the chase that just show, some sort of affinity to those other people that aren't. Not to try and get them to come into this hunt, just to say hello. John Connors Black is coming out. What day in October? It is a sign that something will happen. I found it in the book. Yes. So, well, which is why I talked about November the 5th, because of October the 5th. No, November the 5th, because of October the 6th, I think. November the 5th, October the 6th. So, and obviously, Ben's going live on the 25th. He said he was. I trust him now. He's going to go live. Nothing's changed. But he's not going to give any news, he says. Just news about news, which is a fair comment. But I still think Ashley and Mama Q should go live on Monday, if they're okay to do so. So, yeah. But again, Tigger, you've got to try and convince time is now. Well, start the clock then. On Steve. It's over. Really, it was over. It is over. But it's not over. I'm lying. It is over as long as things go as they are. If things stay as they are, it's over. I still believe, like I said before, there's a mansion that wanted to be built and had all these things that still need to be built. But the goal has been achieved as long as things, carry on the way that they are. And nothing changes. Like, Mr. Dawson and things like that. But all these things have to come together and be as they're supposed to be. But there's still, you still have to hold on a sec. You have to hold on a sec. And then if, things progress as they are now, it's all good. So the time is now, as long as nothing changes from now till then. And, people don't believe in the poem, Tigger, and that's such a shame. Because I honestly believe it will hold them in good stead. But, they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. They don't want to look. They don't want to look. I think once you look in the poem and find yourself in there, and you hear Forrest talking to you, you'll believe in the poem. You will believe in it. There's no doubt about it. The message to future children is clear. If you want to get rich like Forrest, run a twisted militant rank and file. Force winners to obey and extract money if you don't get your way. No, I think Forrest is proving that, the American dream is alive and well. If you're prepared to work for it, and, sometimes you have to follow the rules. No shortcuts. Loyalty has its rewards. These are good lessons to learn. No one, you said no man is an island. Sometimes you need help. Sometimes you need help. As much as you think you can do all the things that you want to do on your own, sometimes, you have to hear what somebody else is saying. And sometimes you're not right. That's how simple it is. Sometimes you're not right. And I was not right lots of times. And I had to admit to myself that I was not right. And I spent a lot of money and time to prove that I was not right. That shows how right I thought I was. I went over to America, thought I was right. Man, thought I was correct. And I wasn't. I learned the hard way that I'm not. As, everybody that says they're the solver will learn that they're not correct. It's impossible for everybody to be correct. That's just how it is. It's impossible for everybody to be correct. And it doesn't matter if I'm not correct. It doesn't matter if David B's not correct. It does matter if Forrest is correct. Forrest has to make it happen. That's what everybody doesn't realise. This was about Forrest Fenn's Thrill of the Chase. This was about Forrest Fenn's treasure. This was about Forrest Fenn finding his treasure. He was still searching. He was still looking. He was still trying to, find that arrowhead. And he made it happen. His chase. That's what this was. We had to join in his chase, not our chase. Like, who will share in my passion? Who will share in my adventure? Who will follow in my footprints? They're not just wasted statements. They're talking to you, all of you, every single one of you there, every single one of you, asking you that question. Will you share in my passion? This thing that I'm doing, will you share in it, or will you go your own way? Will you trust me enough to walk in my footprints? Go where I go, do what I do, listen to me. Will you do that? Will you do it? Whoever will do that, whoever will listen to me, whoever will follow me, whoever will believe in me, sounds a bit like Jesus, but that's not what I'm trying to say. Whoever will do those things, I will reward them. But it seems everyone wanted to go their own way. They chose not to follow Forrest. They chose not to listen to Forrest. And I think they did themselves a disservice. I think if you fail to listen to Forrest, you just didn't get anything. Just passing some of these out to the people here. And I honestly believe that. I really, truly believe that. I think if you didn't want to listen to Forrest and you thought you could do this on your own, you lost. And there had to be a winner, because Forrest said you need a winning solve. Success is an omniscient guru. Look those words up. You're told the answers over and over again. You're told the answer. And you don't want to hear it because you believe your answer is correct. The answer that you got. When Forrest says no one can think my thoughts, the answer that you thought of, you think is the answer. And it can't be, because you thought of it. That's not me being nasty. That's me saying, Forrest had to tell you. You couldn't think it. You couldn't think it. To me, it's so simple. If I can't think of the answer, no matter what I come up with, and I went literally hundreds of souls, no matter what I come up with, that's the point that I got to. No matter what I come up with, it doesn't matter what solve I come up with, none. It doesn't matter. I can come up with the best warm waters hole, and I had hundreds of them. Same as everybody else. Do it this way, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way, do it this way. It didn't matter. So I'd already lost. As soon as I tried to come up with a warm waters halt that I was not told, I'd already lost. I was already wrong. That's the point that I was at. That is the point that I was at. And that's the point you're supposed to be at. Nobody can think my thoughts, said Forrest. How am I supposed to find it then? If I can't think what you did, Forrest, how the heck am I supposed to find it? I'm thinking of all of these things, and you're saying that what you thought of, I can't think of. Oh, that's true then, isn't it? Because I have no confirmation other than my own bias, which he told us. He gave us Jack to tell us. You have nothing other than your own bias to confirm what it is you're thinking. Nothing. There is no confirmation from Forrest Fenn, which is what you're asking for, Five Leaf. You want it from Forrest Fenn. You have no confirmation that what you've thought of is the answer. You already admit by saying it in chat that you want confirmation from Forrest that you're wrong. Because the answer is in the poem that Forrest Fenn gave you. He gave you the confirmation and he told you the confirmation to have it nailed down. He told you the confirmation. So you admit, everybody who says whatever they say is admitting they're wrong because you cannot think what Forrest Fenn thought of. He has to tell you. He is the only person that can confirm that you are correct. You cannot confirm you are correct. It's impossible. You cannot think his thoughts. So therefore, anything you confirm to yourself, I'm right because it's this, it's just you confirming your bias. And I can't see that you can't see that. Oh, I've had a great idea. Oh yeah, you've got it right there. No, I've had a better idea. Yeah, you're right there as well. You're just confirming everything that you think. I think this is warm water salt. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's warm water salt. I think this is the home of Brown. Yep, you're absolutely right. It's the home of Brown. You're just confirming everything that you think. But you can't think Forrest Fenn's thoughts. So therefore, what you just thought is already wrong. It's already wrong. Before you start, it's already wrong. So what do you need to do? You have to go back to the beginning. What's the beginning? The beginning is the poem. What's the beginning of the poem? As I have gone alone in there and with my treasures bold. There's your answer. There's your answer. This is how you solve the poem. Go back to the beginning. As I have gone alone in there and with my treasures bold is part of the solution. It has to be. Why do you think it's there? It's there to tell you how to do it, how to understand what Forrest Fenn is saying. Begin it where warm water's hot may be the first clue. It doesn't mean to say that's where you start, but it may be the first clue. You're not listening to what he said. Begin it where warm water's hot is the first clue. Begin it where warm water's hot is where you start. That's different. It may be the first clue in the poem, but is it where I start? What if I start at the blaze? Which is not the first clue, because the last clue is the most important, because that's when you have the chest. So begin it where warm water's hot is the first clue. So why are you starting there? Did Forrest say, you have to start here? Or did he say, this is the first clue? The first clue in the poem. If you don't have the first clue in the poem, you have nothing. What if, remember, you've got to think what if you have to find the blaze first? It's the last clue, potentially the last clue. But if you find the blaze first, oh, that's the blaze. Oh, That's warm water's halt. I'll go get the chest. That's it. That's it. That's all you have to do. That's the blaze. Oh, look quickly down. That's warm water's halt. I'll go get the chest. Just heavy loads in water high. No paddle up your creek. The end is ever drawing nigh. There'll be no paddle up your creek. No place for the meek. It's in a place people do not normally go. You've seen the blaze. Now you need to go to a place that you wouldn't normally go to. That's it. And you know you have the chest. You know you have the chest. Do you know why you know you have the chest? Because Forrest said, you won't know you have the correct warm water's halt until you have the chest in your hands. So the information that Forrest Fenn gives, 100% accurate. How you interpret it, 100% incorrect. Which is why you don't have a correct soul. Because you interpret it as though you thought of it. And if you thought of it, it's wrong. It's wrong. And you might not like me for saying it, but it's wrong. It has to be wrong. Because you thought of it. Your bias gave you your point where you started, gave you your point where you ended, and then you blame Forrest for everything in between. Forrest didn't tell you where to start. You told you where to start. Forrest didn't say the home ground. You said the home ground. Forrest didn't say heavy loads and water high. You said heavy loads and water high. Forrest didn't tell you it was a blaze. You said it was the blaze. How can you blame Forrest for what you think? This is all what you think. All of you who have a solve, it's what you think. Everything you thought of that you put into practice with your solve came from you, not from Forrest. And that's where it fails. It was all about okay. Oh, right. That's it. Oh, thanks, Forrest. That's it. That's all you had to do. As I've said before, as I said in that video where David said, oh, just, for entertainment, when he talked about Shiloh. The grid is not the solve for the Forrest Fenn through the chase chest. Begin it where warm water's halt. Don't need that. Don't need to use that to find that answer. To find that answer, open the book, get to the page, follow the 9 clues precisely, lead to the end of my rainbow and the treasure, poem. That's it. Or, if you don't have the book, on the internet, begin it where warm water's halt. Okay, yeah, right. A little bit of imagination. That's the soul. That's it. A little bit of imagination is the soul. That's it. More important than knowledge. What's the knowledge that you have? What is the one thing that you have? What's the one thing that you have that you know is 100% accurate in the way that you think? The poem. That's the only thing. The only thing. It's 100% accurate in the way that you think. Now, listen, please listen. Take the one thing that you know is 100% accurate, which is the poem, rip it out of the book, throw the book over there. No, don't do it really. And you have the poem and you're reading it and you know it's the one thing, it's the only thing that you need to give you the answer. It's the only thing that you need. That's what Forrest said. And what you have is the knowledge. You have the knowledge that this is the one thing that you need. That's the knowledge that you have. What's the other thing that you need that is more important than the knowledge that you have? Your imagination. So now, the knowledge you have, as I have gone alone there with my treasures bold, I can keep my secret where and hint of riches new and old. Begin it where warm waters halt and take it in the canyon down. Hold on. That is the knowledge that I have. But Forrest wants me to read the poem. But anybody could read the poem. Here it is. What if I used a little imagination? What if I read the poem with a little imagination? What could the poem actually say? And if I read that to Forrest, would that be game over? You see, it can only be that. That's how simple it is. It can only be that. What is the one bit of knowledge that you have? It's the poem. How did that help you? It didn't. Because you went to the book, you went to the internet, you did everything, and you read the poem the same as 350,000 people read it. What's the one thing that will separate you from those 350,000 people? Your imagination. What you dare to imagine. The what if. The what if this that I'm reading, the knowledge that I am reading, this is the one thing that I know that is true. The information that Forrest gave me in this poem. And I know it's all I need. This poem is all I need. I have this poem. It tells me where a chest is. I just need to read it. But everybody else read it. Everybody else is reading it the same way as me. Yeah, but everybody else is getting different answers than me. Hang on a minute. No, that can't be right. Everybody with the same information is getting a different answer than I am. There's only supposed to be one answer, and it's supposed to be difficult but not impossible. Or it's supposed to be so simple that people are going to think, why didn't I think of that? Forrest said he looked up all the words. I don't need to do anything to the poem, apart from imagine what it could have said. What could Forrest have said? What if he said this? No, that doesn't make sense. What if he said this? No, that doesn't make sense. What if he said this? Well, that makes absolute sense. But again, I have no confirmation. So in my imagination, this is what Forrest wrote. But how do I know that what I am thinking that Forrest thought is correct? How do I know that? I know what I've worked out. This says this. But how do I know it's correct? Oh, I know. Forrest told me how to know. What? Yeah, I've done that. Well, I don't know if I'm right. No, I don't know if I'm correct. I'm right. I'm sure I'm right, but I don't know if I'm correct. Yeah, I know you said that. Well, I haven't done nothing to change it. I've just got that information that I'm thinking of. I know I can't think of your thoughts. Oh. Yep. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, thank you. You see, that little bit of imagination, it's no good. Unless you've got it nailed down. See, that's the difference between what you think and what Forrest thinks. The difference is having it nailed down. You need to confirm that your imagination is correct. So Forrest tells you this is what you need to know. And you'll know this is correct if you have it nailed down. That's it. That's your answer. That's your answer. Because now, with the knowledge that you have, these words in the poem, and your little bit of imagination, you came up with an answer. But it was your answer. It was your thought. And Forrest knew that would be the case. And he said to you, all of you, everybody, you may have a little bit of imagination, but you need it nailed down. D, nailed down. Nailed down. You need it nailed down. Knowledge without a D. Nailed down. What does that mean? So now I have the knowledge, which is the poem, and I know that's 100% correct. That's what I need, and that's all that I need. Now I need some imagination, but that's my imagination. How do I know that my imagination, that I am thinking, is what Forrest was thinking? Because Forrest said, no one can think my thoughts. So now I'm at the point where I'm listening to Forrest, doing what Forrest said, but are they my thoughts or are they his thoughts? Is he telling me what the answer is? Yes, he's telling me what the answer is because he said, I looked up all the words in that poem. And now I don't need to touch the poem apart from imagine what that word is, but I need to have it nailed down. So now I work out what nailed down is, and that confirms that what Forrest told me is the answer. That's it. That's how simple it is. And I'm telling you, it's probably 3 hours worth. If you heard Forrest say what he's saying, it's 3 hours. It takes you 3 hours to solve that poem. Maybe more, maybe less, depending on how you interact with the information in front of you. But probably 3 hours if you do what Forrest Fenn said do. I'm not kidding you. Like if you had that, as soon as you got that information, 3 hours later you could have an answer. And it might be 5 hours, could be 10 hours, depending on whatever. But for me, it probably would have been 3 hours if I did what Forrest Fenn said. If I understood what he was saying right from the very beginning. I go, okay, all right then. Look it up. Nah, don't like that. Next. Keep going until you get the right answer and then go, oh yeah, that's good. Nailed down, I need it nailed down. I need to confirm that what I have is correct because I need a correct solve. That's all. Hey, baby B, how you doing? Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. The great and powerful Oz has spoken. Hiya, code in the ode. Oh, I missed a load of stuff. Wow, how did that all go like that quick? Saying that time is now. Now is the time to set things correct. Something about the sun. 15%, 85%. I'm wrong about 15%. It does not matter how good your solve is. Without the correct warm water told, you have nothing. We were all told. Hi, David B. We were told. Hi, Jeff. How you doing? Thought Forrest thoughts in dream using charades. I was taught his thought in my thoughts. Are we going to get a sip of wine or bite of bread? It's good to read you, Jeff. Blaze marks a trail on the map. You have to follow the blaze carved into the tree of knowledge called symmetry. Yes, man. The leader, solver, and his robots will consider your theories for review. Thank you. That's nice of you. It's nice to be reviewed, but not on The View. That, no. No. The View, no. No. In the beginning, Forrest created the poem. Yes, that's exactly it. The creator. If you're not listening to the creator, what have you got? You've got nothing. Five Leaf, does the solver have robots? We won't know it all until the fall into the grave. Solver has technology beyond your wildest dreams. How are you, dear? Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, the great and the powerful Lord has read that one. You don't need specialized knowledge. No, absolutely don't. Okay, Tigger, thank you. You've already said enough anyway, Tigger, thank you. It's nice to have like-minded people. Not that, it justifies anything that I say. It's just, battling is hard work. A little below my best, but good to see. You can see her, him, her, him, her. I can't see. I can only read. I just can't keep up with all the new technology. Well, join the club. Having the knowledge to use technology is specialized knowledge. You do not need specialized knowledge to solve my poem. F. Ooh. There is that. No, you don't need. Well, again, just to put it in perspective, there's more than just a chest that Forrest was talking about. So the information that Forrest gave is pertaining to a particular solution. You have to separate those bits of information as to which solution he was talking about, which information he was giving you. So to find the chest, you don't need specialized knowledge. You just need to listen to what he says and then act on what he says. Poem cult, laugh out loud, laugh my ass off. Ignore what I've said at your own peril. Oh. Woody, I think you have plenty of ability in your head, and you live where all answers exist. Ooh. I do believe this has become a snake oil and trivia quest. Do those pay well? Oh no, we're going to get called charlatans again, I think. The answer is, and always has been the answer. It has never changed. No, the spot has always been the spot, etc., etc., etc. I don't know why, back to Forrest, when, I was trying to highlight the fact that, John's chests and the hunt that is starting soon, but, this precursor. I don't know how the Forrest Fenn through the chase started. I don't know if it's just one day, boom, there it is, or whether there was a lead up to it. I don't know how that went. But this is not sounding too different to what Forrest Fenn's Through the Chase was. And people, are acting negatively to it when it's no different to what Forrest Fenn himself did. And I can understand why people say, yeah, but it ended like this and it ended like that. It hasn't ended. The Thrill of the Chase hasn't ended and won't end. It just, as long as somebody wishes to offer a treasure hunt, the Thrill of the Chase goes on. Whether it's related to Forrest Fenn or not doesn't matter. The fact that we can, if the community keeps going, will this community change from the Forrest Fenn community to the John Collins Black community? Or will it still stay the Forrest Fenn community? I think it should still stay the Forrest Fenn community. It didn't become a community because of John Collins Black. It will still be the John Collins Black treasure hunt, if, going forward. But the community exists already. That'd be like setting up America and then somebody else come along and say, well, actually, no, I want to call it, Lululand or something. And everyone go, yeah, okay then, because you're the person in charge, we'll call it a different name. So, World Series of Fenn. Is it going to be called the World Series of John Collins Black? I don't know. Maybe in this day and age, it's all about the sponsor. Whoever sponsors it is a person, that's what we call it. Well, that's good. Left myself. If it is not nailed down, you have not. Well, that's the whole thing. That's what I don't get. What people don't. There's a lot of things I don't understand how people behave. And somebody spoke to me. An American spoke to me and said, "The Americans won't understand it." This is coming from an American. I'm not going to say it is, but this is coming from an American. Americans won't understand it. I said, "Yeah, but I told this, this, and this, and this." Yeah, they won't understand it. It's like, well, you understand it. She says, "Yeah, only because you nailed it, nailed it, nailed it, nailed it." Not those exact words, but it's like, some people will hear Forrest. I don't get why you can't hear what Forrest Fenn is saying, and I do get why you're not understanding me because I'm English. But you didn't even understand Forrest, and I just don't get it. And when I say that Forrest wrote in the poem that American searchers won't find it, that's not me saying it. He knew he could do a treasure hunt in America, and the people in America will not find it because of the way they are. And I don't understand it. I'm not an American, so I don't understand that this is how you process things and go about doing things. I don't understand that. And I can't understand that you can't hear the simple information that's being given. But Forrest knew that. He wrote it in the poem. And he knew that you wouldn't do it. Whatever you thought of, however you did it, and that's not me casting aspersions on the type of people you are. That's Forrest saying the type of people you are, you're not going to do what it is that I want you to do. It's going to be somebody else that's going to do what I want them to do. And it's hard to think that you think like that, but I'm told by two Americans now, Forrest Fenn and this other person, saying you won't get it. Doesn't matter how much I explain it, you won't get it. And I'm thinking that's crazy because it's still English. You should be able to understand English. This. I don't know. I don't know. Were the gypsy waggers into snake oil and trivia? It was a waste of time that caused 100k more waste by not clarifying, and that's not on Solver. If you as a solver do not know what nail down means, then that must mean the person is not the solver. Simple. Yeah, that's. Somebody said I looked defeated the other day. I'm not defeated about the chase. I'm defeated that, people aren't understanding the simple truth. If you don't understand what Forrest Fenn is saying, I don't know how many times I've said this, but if you don't understand what Forrest Fenn is saying, you're not the solver. It's impossible for you to be the solver because all of this, everything that he did, the whole shenanigans, whatever you call it, whatever you want to call it, subterfuge, whatever it is, was designed to help the finder, the solver, whatever you want to call it. It was designed for that person specifically. And if you don't understand it, and I've said it hundreds of times, how can you be the solver? It's like, that makes absolutely no sense. All of this that's gone on for the last 4 years, and probably before then as well, God, I'm starting to feel like Donald Trump. But that's what happens when you tell the truth. You don't talk like this when you tell the truth, Kamala. You don't talk like this when you're telling the truth, Kamala. You talk like this. When you're lying, you talk like this. And you're not always drunk. So the fact that Forrest is telling the truth all the time, and he's talking to the finder who understands what's going on, if you're claiming to be the solver, you should have no hesitation as to what's happening in the chase, because Forrest Fenn was talking to you. Everything that he did was for you as the solver. Here you go, solver. This is what you need to know. Here you go, you need to know this. Here you go, you need to know this. Here you go, you need to know this. And if you turn around and say, well, Forrest Fenn is a fraud, it's like, well, you're not the solver. Because he's been talking to you for the last 5 years. Well, all through the chase, but certainly in the last 5 years was more focused, if that's the right word, probably, on speaking to whoever was going to be the solver because of the information that he got. No, more than that then. So 2018, 6 years. So from 2018, he went, somebody said something that's piqued my interest. Now, from that first person, there could have been other people saying, similar stuff. But from that first person, he then went, my gut feeling's wavering, which means whoever that person was didn't get any further forward. So still had the information, original information, but didn't, get further forward with that. And then, at some point, other information was given to Forrest that made him believe that he could then, I don't know, maybe do a scrapbook dump and talk to the finder like, there you go, have all this. Or talk to everybody and say, look, hurry up, get this information. So he could well be talking to everybody in that last stage, or he could have been talking to the finder in that last stage, however that works, trying to get the information out, but make it fair for everyone. So all of those scrapbooks may have already been pre-printed, and this was supposed to keep going over a period of years. But whoever the person was that was giving information was like, oh, okay, there you go, have this. And let everybody have it. There you go. That's the information that everyone was supposed to have. And there it is. It's out in the public domain. And if you can use it and, bring this forward, then I'll be able to make it happen. But you can only say that if you can understand him. If you can understand Forrest Fenn, that's when you can say you're the solver. And if you can't understand Forrest Fenn, you can't be the solver because he did everything for the solver, the finder. It's not to aid the seeker. It's to aid the finder. A specific statement to say the information that I'm giving is to help the person that's going to find it. Now, I say the finder because that's what Forrest said. If you want to talk about solvers, finders, whatever, you cannot be that person if you don't understand what Forrest Fenn is saying. That is just simple logic. And that you can't understand that is way, way past the way my brain works. Because I find that simple. Mary, can you understand what Forrest Fenn is saying? No. Oh, it ain't me then. I've just admitted it's not me because I've got an idea what he said. I cannot understand what he's saying, so I can't be the solver. That's exactly how I'd look at it. I don't understand what he's saying. But he's talking to the finder. Well, I don't understand what he's saying. Oh shit, he's not talking to me then, is he? I don't understand him. I don't see how that is difficult. There's nothing in my mind that says that's difficult to understand. If you do not understand what Forrest Fenn is saying, it isn't you. It can't be you. You're nowhere near. You're not even that. There's no gap between those fingers. You're not that close. If you don't understand what Forrest Fenn is saying, and he's supposed to be talking to you, it ain't you. I don't see how difficult that is. Jeep girl, it's always good to hear you. Hear you. Read you. I can't hear you. Oh yeah, I can hear you. How you doing? Always pleasant when Jeep girl comes. So Forrest's message to the future is, you're not the solver. Well, if you can't understand him, he's not giving you a message. I don't know what I want me to say. He's not talking to you. If you don't understand what Forrest Fenn is saying, he is not talking to you. There is no information that Forrest Fenn is giving for you. That's what he said. It's there to aid the finder, not the seeker. So the information that he's giving is to aid somebody that can understand what he's saying. If you don't understand what he's saying, then there's not a message for you, other than you don't hear me. It just amazes me. If he's not talking to you, there is no message for you. It's like you're eavesdropping on somebody else's conversation. There is no message for you. It's not meant for you. That's what those words mean. Listen, it's there to aid the finder, not the seeker. So stop listening to me talking to the finder. I'm talking to the finder, has nothing to do with the seeker. It's just me and the finder. We're having a chat. So there is no message for anybody else, unless you can understand what he's saying. And then he'd be like, yeah, join in. Let's have a discourse. Hello. Hi, Imagination of Innocence. Just dropped in. Unfortunately, here you are stating that if you didn't listen, that you are wrong. Common man, just accept the fact that people are and think differently. Imagine what if. Simple truth. Please listen. The simple truth is, you cannot think the answer. These are Forrest Fenn's words, not mine. You cannot think my thoughts. Yeah? Right? You cannot think my thoughts. Okay? Listen to that. You, not my thoughts. Forrest Fenn saying, you cannot think my thoughts. Okay? So anything that you thought or anybody else thought is wrong. That's simple truth. Simple English, simple truth. If you cannot think what Forrest Fenn thought of, what you thought of is not what Forrest Fenn thought of, so it's wrong. So the only way you can get the answer is by listening to Forrest Fenn. That's as simple English as I can put it. Forrest Fenn says you can't think his thoughts, so whatever you thought of is incorrect, which means if you're not listening, you're wrong. Because Forrest Fenn has to tell you the answer. That's the whole point of it. That's why you have to listen. Forrest Fenn has to tell you the answer. The answer is in the poem. All you need is the poem. That's the knowledge that you have. You have the knowledge, which is the poem. Now, with that knowledge, you need to have a little bit of imagination. With that little bit of imagination, you need to have it nailed down. That's it. That's your solve. That's it. As simple as it gets. This is what Forrest Fenn said. In whatever way that I've paraphrased it, but that's exactly what he said. It's there to aid the finder, not the seeker, which means I'm talking to the finder, I'm not talking to you. You don't understand what I'm saying. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the finder. That person understands me. That person understands that all they need is the poem. That person understands that the knowledge that I have is the poem. That person understands that in order to solve my poem, they need the knowledge, but a little imagination. But with that little imagination, they need to have it nailed down. That's the solve. That's it. It doesn't get any simpler than that. So if you're not listening, you didn't solve it. It's impossible. It's impossible because what you have are your thoughts, not Forrest Fenn's, because he said no one can think his thoughts. So you can't think what he thought of. That's what he says. You cannot think what he thought of. To me, that's simple to understand. I cannot think what Forrest Fenn thought, so Forrest Fenn must tell me what the answer is. How can he tell me? I need to listen. Okay, I hear what you're saying. All I need is the poem. Here's the poem. You looked up all the words in the poem. I look up all the words in the poem. I don't need all the words in the poem, but it's risky to ignore any of them. Okay, so now the knowledge that I have is the poem. Yeah, okay, but I need a little imagination. Okay, I've done that. I've found an answer. But it's my answer, Forrest. How do I know that this thing that I thought of that is my answer is correct? Because I need a correct solve. Oh, I need to have it nailed down. So now I have my knowledge, which is the poem. That's what I have. It's the knowledge. It's the only thing that I need. A little bit of imagination. I have an answer. How do I confirm that answer? I have it nailed down. That's my solve, according to Forrest Fenn. I don't need anything else. I don't need to use anybody's information. I don't need to go onto any internet. I don't need to have any specialized knowledge other than the words that Forrest Fenn looked up. That's all I need. That's all I need. The words that Forrest Fenn looked up and a little bit of imagination. That's my answer. And that's Forrest Fenn's answer. And that's how I see it. We did not create the poem. Who did you? Shoot like the rest of us. Please stop telling people. Okay. Keep doing what you're doing. It worked out well for you. Keep doing what you're doing. And if you do the next hunt, this obviously worked out well for you. Carry on doing what you're doing. It doesn't matter to me. If you don't want to listen, don't listen. Are you there? Are you just being defiant? Nothing. Well, I don't know anything more than you do. I'm not saying that I do. I'm saying Forrest Fenn said these words, and these words mean this. That's it. If you don't want to listen to that, which is Forrest Fenn, not me, if you don't want to listen that Forrest Fenn said, you only need the poem. Is that true? Of course that's true. Forrest Fenn said, you only need the poem. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Is that true? Did Forrest Fenn say that? Of course he did. So now you have the poem, which is all you need, which is your knowledge. That's your knowledge. Knowledge you have is the poem. You know it says all these words, and you think that's what it means. But words don't mean what you think they do. If my knowledge doesn't mean what I think it does, what do I need to do? I need to imagine this information, which is my knowledge, the poem, that is all I need. I need to imagine these words. They don't mean what I think they do. They must mean something else. What do they mean? What could they possibly mean? I have an idea. It means this. Using my imagination, these words mean this. But that's come from me, my imagination. I imagine these words that don't mean what you think they do. They mean this. How will I know that these words that I use my imagination for mean what Forrest Fenn thinks they mean? Because Forrest Fenn said to me, and you, imagination, you specifically probably, imagination is more important than knowledge. But if you don't have begin it where warm waters halt nailed down, nailed down, if you don't have it nailed down, you have nothing. So now I have knowledge without the D or two Ds because it's not nailed down. The knowledge that I have is my imagination. My imagination I have. But if I have it nailed down, this D down, nailed down, if I have this D, I may have the correct answer. So now, listen, because you're very, very obstropulous and very, very ignorant to the simple truth and very, very offensive. I've told you what the truth is. Here is your knowledge. It is a poem written by Forrest Fenn. That is your knowledge. It is the only knowledge you need. Remember, you only need the poem. You don't need any other knowledge. This is the knowledge that you have. The poem. Words don't mean what you think they do. So this knowledge is wrong. This knowledge that you have, it's wrong. This knowledge, this poem, it's wrong. It doesn't mean what you think it does. So how can you get a solve from the information that is wrong? Maybe with a little imagination, you can, what's the word? Correct. You can correct the information. What do you do when you correct the information? No, not you, Forrest. I'm trying to hear from you. Change it. You need a correct solve. You change the information. You imagine it to be something other than it is. So now you have the information that you need, the knowledge. You have words that mean what you think they do. So you look up all the words in the poem that Forrest did. Then, with this knowledge, without a D, it's no good. You've changed this information to what you think it, well, you didn't because you didn't make the effort. I did. Change the information to what I thought it was. But I need it nailed down. It's no good because this information that I have now, which is my knowledge and my imagination, I don't know if it's my imagination or Forrest Fenn's. So I need it nailed down. So what do? I find out that it's nailed down. That in itself, every word from Forrest Fenn, I've just told you, you can't hear, but I've just told you every word from Forrest Fenn we've just done. We have the knowledge, which is the poem, which is all you need. All you need. Looked up all the words, did that. But words don't mean what you think they do. Which means this information, my knowledge that I'm reading, your knowledge that we're reading, is wrong because it doesn't mean what you think it does. So therefore, a little imagination. What could it mean then? If it doesn't mean that, what could it mean? Okay, it could mean this, but is that my imagination? Are they my thoughts? How do I know I am correct? I have corrected it because now it doesn't read the way that it did read. Now it reads the way that I think it reads, that I imagine that it reads. But it needs to be nailed down. Without them D's, without having it nailed down, you won't know you have the correct warm waters halt. What do you think nailed down means? Could it mean confirmed? Could it mean that my imagination of this knowledge that Forrest Fenn gave us and said it was all you needed, I now have it confirmed that my imagination is correct because I corrected it? Does that all make sense? Of course it does. Of course it does. Here's my knowledge. It makes no sense because words don't mean what you think they do. So now I look up the words because Forrest Fenn said he did. Now the words mean what I think they do. These words mean what I think they do. But I don't have it nailed down. I don't have it nailed down. What if I was to get it nailed down? I would then have the knowledge, the imagination nailed down. I wish I'd have thought of that. Oh, I did. You see, that's how simple it is. That's just by listening to Forrest. Because if you didn't listen to Forrest, guess what? You only have your own thoughts. The only thing that confirms your thoughts being correct, the only thing that confirms your thoughts being correct, your bias. The only thing that confirms your thoughts being correct are your bias. Guess what confirms my thoughts being correct? Have a guess. One little guess, because that's all you do. You just guess, which leads to a thin wallet, Forrest says. Have a guess what confirms my thoughts on how to do this. Oh, Forrest. Forrest does. He confirms it. He told me. He told you. You need it nailed down. This knowledge, poem, the imagination, the words that don't mean what you think they do, correct it. You need a correct solve. Change the information because it doesn't mean what you think it does. Change it. When you change it, get it nailed down. That's what Forrest Fenn said, do. And he said, it's to aid the finder, not the seeker. If you don't understand what he's saying, guess what that says about you? You're not the solver because you don't understand him. And he's talking to you. He's literally saying to you, I'm talking to the finder. And you don't understand him? I have to say you're wrong. Have to, because Forrest is talking to the finder. And if you don't understand what he's saying, it ain't you. It can't be you because you don't understand him. And he's saying, shh, I'm talking to the finder, not the seeker. This is our conversation. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the person who's listening to me, who understands me. That's the person I'm talking to. So if you don't understand me, shut the fuck up and let me talk to the finder. See, I can be ignorant and arrogant and obnoxious and insulting as well. I choose not to be. But I don't appreciate it when I'm trying to help you and you talk to me like that. Now, what I've told you is 100% fact from Forrest Fenn. Not from me. He's not here, by the way. Not from me. They're not my words. I didn't say all you need is a poem. Forrest Fenn said that. I didn't say knowledge without a D. Forrest Fenn said that. I didn't say I looked up all the words in the poem. Forrest Fenn said that. I didn't say imagination is more important than knowledge. Forrest Fenn said that. I didn't say if you don't have a beginning where warm water salt, you have nothing. Forrest Fenn said that. I didn't say if you don't have warm water salt nailed down. I never said none of those things. Forrest Fenn did. I just heard him say them. And I'm telling you, and you're so arrogant and obnoxious, you seem to think that you can think Forrest Fenn's thoughts. And he said you couldn't. I didn't say it. He said it. No one can think my thoughts. It includes you, imagination. You cannot think Forrest Fenn's thoughts. I rest my case. Sorry, but you want me to behave like this, I'll behave like it. It's just crazy. Everyone is a better treasure hunter for what? Doing the church. Yes, he was a unique teacher. Trouble is, some people don't listen. You can speak out as much as you want, but I will just put you in your place and tell you, listen to what Forrest Fenn said and what you're saying when you're making up all of these answers that you have. You're making them up. They didn't come from Forrest. They are your opinion of what you think Forrest could have meant. I'm stating this is what it meant. This is what it can mean. Exactly what it means. Exactly what it means. It can only mean that. I looked up all the words in the poem. It means you have to look them all up. It means you have to look them up. Words don't mean what you think they do. It means those words that you've used for your solve, they are wrong. Those words are wrong. For you to find the solve, you need to look up the words. For you to find the solve, you need to look up the words. Now, if the knowledge is the poem and the imagination are the words, then get them nailed down. That's your answer. That's how simple it is. 3 hours worth of listening to Forrest. 3 hours. Three hours, probably. 3 hours. I don't get it. Why you don't want to listen to Forrest. You don't have to listen to me, but I'm just telling you what Forrest Fenn said. Hey, Zozo. Buzz, hi. Ah, MJ, how you doing? Are we there yet? Are we there? Nearly. I don't know. I think we'll be happy before Halloween. Possibly. I think that day is a good day, an important day. Plus, at this point, we all know we didn't have the right solve. TC was. Used to hear that. Lemonade from Lemons. I'm not telling you dumb and stupid. You are. You're confirming you're dumb and stupid. I'm not saying it. I'm saying, look, these are the words of Forrest Fenn. You're saying that I'm wrong. Well, tell Forrest he's wrong. Don't tell me. I'm telling you what Forrest said. That makes you dumb. You're admitting you're dumb. I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm saying Forrest is not talking to you if you're not understanding him. That's it. You want to say that you're dumb, fine. I haven't said you're dumb. I've said you're wrong because you're not listening to Forrest. You're trying to say this is about me. It's not about me. I'm telling you what Forrest Fenn said. You don't want to hear that. I can't help that. I cannot help that. You want to call yourself dumb? Fine. I'm not calling you dumb. I'm calling you deaf. I'm not calling you dumb. Hey, Huska, how you doing? Oh, I didn't know you were here. Now you got to run. Hello, goodbye. Say hello, wave goodbye. Ah, lemonade, love it. It was a moment, Well, especially Zozo. Don't want to see what? After 7 times, I don't know. Didn't get that. I still go up to Wyoming camping or poking around every other week. Just be careful in Wyoming. There's some bad news coming out of Wyoming about wolf people and stuff like that. So just be careful when you go out there. Always. I think you are, yeah. But it doesn't matter. I just, I don't hold nothing against you. I don't mind. It's just annoying that people Don't listen to Forrest and then, make, I don't know, crazy statements that don't make sense. Hot sauce. Everyone have a great weekend. Yes. Well, Sunday. See you, Woody. Take care. Thanks for popping in. Happy International Day of Peace. I wonder who is celebrating. I found the treasure. I'm dumbfounded as well. But at the end of the day, this is not about me trying to be clever. Please stop this accusing me of doing stuff that I'm not doing. I'm trying to put out information that Forrest Fenn put out that people don't seem to, recognize as English or American or however it is. And I was told by an American that you wouldn't understand, and I find it hard to believe. Well, two Americans. First, Forrest Fenn in the poem, and then an American telling me that you won't understand the simple information that's being put out. If you don't understand what Forrest Fenn is saying, how can you be the solver? It's impossible. But it doesn't get any simpler than that. How can you be the solver if you don't understand the man that is talking to the finder? How is that possible? It's there to aid the finder, not the seeker. So anything that Forrest Fenn put out is to aid the finder. And if you don't understand it, it's obviously not helping you. It's not helping you. So how can it be you? That's not me trying to prove you incorrect. That's not me trying to say that I'm right. That's me saying, look, Forrest Fenn said this. This is the only thing that it can mean. It can't mean anything else. It just literally, the things that I'm saying to you can't mean anything else. They can't mean anything else. If Forrest is helping the finder to find the chest from 2010 all the way till now, if Forrest was, well, he doesn't need to be helping him now, but from 2010 onwards, if Forrest was helping the finder in everything that he was doing, and you don't understand what Forrest Fenn is saying, no, it can't be you. If he didn't help you, it can't be you. If you don't understand what he's saying, it can't be you. I don't see how difficult that is for people to understand. However good the solve is, it doesn't matter. If you don't understand what the man who says he's talking to the person who's found it or finding it or going to find it, if you're not that person, how can it be you? It's beyond me to think that people will think they can be the solver if they don't understand what Forrest Fenn is saying. That's just ridiculous. Crazy ridiculous. And the only thing that you can have, look, these are his words. As well as it's important to know what's worth knowing and what isn't worth knowing. If he's telling you that imagination is more important than knowledge, what is the knowledge? The only one thing that you are certain about. It's the poem. Don't worry about the book. Don't worry about the internet. Don't worry about anything else, the other books and $17 a square inch and everything else. The same with John's Hunt, JCB. Don't worry about all the other stuff. He says find 5 chests using one book. That's it. Forrest said find 1 chest using the poem. That's it. That's your knowledge. The knowledge is the poem. Well, how can I solve the poem if everybody reads the poem the same way? Well, the only thing that's different is a little imagination. So now you have knowledge without a D, possibly, using a little imagination, and words don't mean what you think they do. So if they don't mean what I think they do, any of us, if they don't mean what I think they do, then they must mean something else. So I need to correct those words that I'm reading, which you need a correct solve. He didn't say you need a right solve. You need a correct solve. So if I correct those words that don't mean what I think they do, that Forrest looked up, if I correct those words, then I have a correct solve, which I've said hundreds of times ages ago. You need a correct solve. So correct the words in your imagination. You don't need to do anything else. There's no sliding the lines. There's no coloring things in. None of this, chains and letters. None of that. Just read the poem with a little imagination. Now, once you do that, you have an answer, or more than one answer. Lots of answers, but you need it nailed down. So you read that poem, get it nailed down. Once you have it nailed down, you know you have the correct answer. You've corrected the poem with the correct information, and now you know it's correct because it's nailed down. Confirmed. If it's nailed down, it's confirmed. You have a correct solve, that's confirmed because it's nailed down. I don't see how difficult that is. There's not the slightest nothing in my brain that can make me not see. I don't know how to say it, but I can't imagine that you can't understand that. I'm told by Forrest that you're not going to understand it, and I'm told by this other person that you're not going to understand it, but I don't understand how you can't understand it. I just don't. It's basically what Forrest Fenn said. This is how you solve my poem. Here is your knowledge of the poem. Little imagination. Correct solve. Nail down. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. It's done. It's finished. It's correct and it's finished. There's nothing else you need to do. It's that simple. And for people to say, no, I'm the finder, and I did this amazing solve that nobody's ever going to think of, I'm thinking, yeah, but he said that's exactly not what they're going to do. They're going to say, why didn't I think of that? They're not going to go, oh, never thought of that in a million years. That's not what he said. So to try and think of a solve that no one else is going to think of, a totally, using specialized knowledge or whatever it is that you've done, it's nothing like what Forrest Fenn said. And if you don't understand what he's saying, I don't see it. Happy International Day. Oh, done that. Pinball wizard. That deaf, dumb, and blind kid sure plays a mean pinball. Doo-doo. Hello, Amy. How you doing? The code in the o.com says English is also spin. Oh yeah, that's the pool and snooker. That's how you call it spin. Forrest was a shifty characters of the poem, as I have gone alone in their real alone. X marks the spot. Tabular 26 characters. X lands there. I can't disagree with that. No matter how good your solve is, you must have it nailed down. Paraphrasing. As I have gone along in there, X, Y, Z equals 26. X dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded as well. So, and again, it's not me trying to say that I'm correct. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, and it doesn't make me the solver because I give you this information. It just says that I'm listening to Forrest and I'm telling you what Forrest said. I'm not trying to tell you the answer. I'm telling you what Forrest said. And because of what he said, it can only mean this. It can only mean this. But if you know the Homer Brown, why are you worried about the blaze? It can only mean one thing. It can only mean one thing. If you know the Homer Brown, why are you worried about the blaze? The Homer Brown must be more important than the blaze, or as important as the blaze. Now, if the blaze is where the chest is, guess what? Homer Brown and blaze. If you have the Homer Brown, why are you worried about Warm Water's halt? Guess what? Like, to me, and then you had all the other information that Forrest Fenn gave. It's like, if I told you the Homer Brown, you walk right straight to it. It's like, come on. Now, I know I've been told, Forrest said in the poem you wouldn't understand in America. And Americans told me they won't get it, Mario. Doesn't matter how long you tell us, we won't understand it. But it's hard to believe that that's the case. It really is hard to believe that that's the case. I cannot come to terms with that fact that you don't understand the simple information from Forrest that says, what does that mean what you think they do? Nothing is as it seems. I don't get how you don't get that. I really don't get how you don't get that. That just, like, it blows my mind. I just can't fathom it. I just can't. So this was about, well, Ben as well, if he's still here. He's going to do the show on the 25th. Oh, Ben, if you're still here, like, what time? Like, is it late? Should I sort of go to sleep, and then wake up, or is it worthwhile just staying awake? So, in your country, it will be about 7 o'clock-ish. So a bit before, a bit after, 8, 7, 6, 5, whatever, wherever you are in the country. Because it's nearly 1:30 here. So if it's 5 hours, if it's 6 hours behind, then that would be 7 o'clock, wouldn't it? It would be 7 o'clock. 7 of the clock. So if you went live now, it would be 1:30. If you went live in half an hour, 2 o'clock, might be worth having a kip first and then watch it. I'll take it Ben's not here. Uh-oh. So I think it'd be worth watching. He did say no news, just news about news, which is still good. He didn't confirm that he's going to have a shave. Dag nabbit. Or if he's already shaved. What if he shaved before he went to near Mexico? Or that he said hi to Charlie. Or if we're going to see the shovel. So, going forward, it's always better to go forward. Going forward, the JCB, John's Hunt, is no different than the Thrill of the Chase in the sense that Forrest Fenn said and did things, and we never knew what he was talking about, and it was always contradictory and whatever. And we have a new hunt, which is exactly the same. And people are kicking off. It's like, well, hang on. Haven't we just been through that? Doesn't that, make it a better thing that we already know that, it's running along the same sort of lines as what happened with Forrest? Forrest, you're contradicting things. Forrest, those words don't make sense. Forrest, you made errors. Forrest, this is very similar. Very similar. So, that should give you a head start, with everybody else. And the hunt has the potential to appeal to every type of person, which means it must be on every sort of media, because different people use different media and learn in different ways. Some people like physical, to see it, to learn something. Some people want to hear it, and they learn better that way. So between now and the book coming out, there's going to be information that should help you understand the puzzles. Similar to Forrest, he used to put information out that had nothing to do with anything other than he was telling a story. But in that story, there was information that helps you understand the Thrill of the Chase. So between now and the book coming out, there will be information that may help you understand the information that's in the book. So if you can understand the information you're already getting by the time you get the book, I don't see that there's an issue with the information, even though it's contradictory, but that's how it was in the Thrill of the Chase. Until the book comes out, whilst this information that you're getting may help in a way, if you understand it, otherwise it's just going to confuse you. If you understand it, it should help when you get the book. If it doesn't, when you get the book, that's when it starts. That's when you should worry about, if things aren't changing before the chase starts, not the chase, I don't know what we're going to call it. What we're going to call it? Is it still the chase? Is it going to be a hunt? Like, when it actually starts, what are we going to call it? The quarry? So, like, going forward in John's hunt, JCB's hunt, going forward, there has to be not a clean slate, but an understanding of the rules. So Forrest had his rules. With this hunt, there's going to be an understanding of the rules, and that will come from reading the book. I can't stress enough. I put the question in KPRO's chat. Is the book all the clues in the book for the 5 chests? Yes. So that means you only need the book. People moaning about the other book and there's a clue in the other book, etc. It doesn't matter. Everything you need is in the one book. Once you start doing what you did in the chase, go here, there, and everywhere, then you're going to get lost. If all you need is the book has all the answers you need to find the 5 chests. So potentially, if you do it correctly, you should be able to find everything. Everything. All 5. If you do it correctly. The only way you're going to do that is have the book, read the book, understand the rules, find the chests. But once you start doing what's already happening, you're all going to be lost. Buying another book, following what's happened in the chase, projecting for the next, second book, third book, fourth book, however many books there's going to be, if there's going to be any. It all has to come back to there's 5. So it all has to come back to the 5 places. Whatever you do, it has to come back to the 5 places. Once you start looking in other places, you're lost. So if Forrest said all you needed was a poem, you should have stuck with the poem. If John is saying all you need is the book, then you need to stick with the book. Because it's not a lie. He's telling you this is how you need to solve this. All the other information is probably going to help. You need to work out why you've been given that information and understand what the book is about. I don't get why people are making all these statements. I don't get it. Especially as nothing to do with the Forrest Fenn chase. It may not have anything to do with Forrest Fenn. He may not set it up. All these things that people are saying. Okay, I'll give you that. But the one thing that everybody wants to know is what's in the olive jar. So it has something to do with the Forrest Fenn thrill of the chase. It's out on 10/21. The home address of Forrest Fenn. Rumor is there's going to be, another part of the poem, which is Forrest Fenn's poem. How does he get access to that poem if that's the case? So, to say there's no connection to Forrest Fenn, that's bull. There has to be. If the poem is being used. If the olive jar still has the information in it. All of those things. And other things as well. But you can't go into this blinkered. If you're told everything is in that one book, read the book. And know that by reading the book and understanding the rules of engagement, as it were, you'll be able to find all 5 things. You should be able to find all of them. So get the answers for 5 chests. You should be able to get that. Using the information you're given. Has to be there. Has to be there. So you're already talking yourself out of it before you've even read the book. Doesn't make sense. The book's going to give you all the answers you need. This pre-book information may help you understand the information in the book, but it's not going to stop you. This is the important thing. It's not going to stop you finding the chests. So what if it's wrong? If everything that is given to you now and before the book comes out isn't going to make any difference. Going to make no difference at all. Everything you need is in the book. So maybe use the vlogs for entertainment. I don't know. But everything you need is in the book. I don't see what's difficult to understand about that. I really don't. It's like, what? Why are you worried about all of this? If it's just to get the hunt started, and if it was me, it'd be on all of them. Facebook, Twitter, X, whatever. Medium, Telegram, Signal, Snapchat, all of them. because different people have these different media outlets that they want to go to. YouTube, and it's going to need, if it's going to, I don't see why it shouldn't go worldwide. If it's going to go worldwide and, blow up, then everybody needs to know it. And I feel that those people that have been in the thrill of the chase have got a head start, really have. And you'll be the people that these new people will want to hear from. Obviously, you don't want to hear from me because most people say I'm talking a load of rubbish, but I don't know. I can only read tonight, can't hear at the local music festival tonight what we are discussing. Just lip syncing that. How can I say Frank? No, I can't. I was going to sort of like go like shy guy talking to you. But Frank, if you can't hear me, have a great time. Also means someone already knows the answers, or they could not say that answer. Excuse me. Oh, I don't know what was said then. But I agree, Davey, because I don't know what was said then, so I don't know what you're answering to, but yeah. Hope someone finds a chest day one. You hope someone finds a chest day one, or you know someone's going to find a chest day one. So what is day one? It doesn't come out till the 21st of October. So does that mean that every book is going to be delivered to every household on the 21st of October? Or will some people get it on the 19th or the 20th or the 22nd or the 23rd? Excuse me. So officially the hunt starts on the 21st of October. Does it start on the 21st of October in Australia, which is 12 hours ahead of you? Does it start on the 21st of October in England, which is 7 hours ahead of you? Or does it start on the 21st of October in the USA? Does it start Eastern time, Mountain time, Central time, whichever other times there are? When does it start? I know you can't hear me, Frank, but finds the chest on the first day, on day one. There has to be, I don't know, a time that it starts. Because effectively, if it's 12 o'clock in Australia in the afternoon, it's 12 o'clock midnight in America. Which means it hasn't even come to that day yet. So as soon as it goes to that day, 1 minute past midnight, it's now the 21st. And Davey effectively could find the chest before you even wake up. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just saying. Maybe John Collins Black says, Central time, 12 o'clock, this is when it kicks in. Or is it just, a free-for-all? If you have the book, if it's the 21st, you can find it. I don't know. But there you go. Odds are 100 to 1. Why 100 to 1? Where'd you get that from? I hate betting. The horses I follow, I like to follow other horses. Davy Bean, brown noses. That's one thing I don't do. Front runner. But it's true. Everything that I say is true to the best of my knowledge. I just try and say the facts as I see them. If, with that question, find it on day one, to Davy B, he's already in the 21st and you're still in the 20th. So effectively, at 1 minute past 12 midnight for Davy, he's on the 21st and you're still 12 o'clock in the afternoon on the 20th. So effectively, Davey could solve it 1 minute past midnight his time, and you'd still be on the 20th waiting for your book to arrive. I'm just saying how it is. So maybe, if you want to make it even for everybody, he should say, well, it doesn't start until such and such time on such and such a day. Give everybody a chance to get a book. I don't know. Some people have all the luck. Some people already have the book. They got the book by saying they would rather have the book or $100 from John Dean in public. Yeah, my beau is from New Zealand. I am in Denver, so for years I would have to wait until 2 a.m. to talk to him. It was 12 hours plus 6 hours ahead of me. Yeah, so, I'm just making a true statement. I'm not saying, I am saying it's unfair in a way because, if if Dave's going to solve it, Dave's going to solve it in 12 hours, then, that's something else. But it does mean that some people are going to get it before other people are going to get it, or some people, can claim it. Maybe, the statement you can't claim it until, everybody's woke up and had a chance to read the book at least. I'm not saying that Dave's going to read the book in 12 hours, but you know what I'm saying. A day ahead from Australia. Mountain time. Yeah, mountain time. So, even that, Eastern time is probably 4 hours ahead or 3 hours or whatever it is ahead of Western time, whatever you call that. So, they're awake at 9 o'clock, probably up doing stuff, and people still 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning. So, maybe if you're watching, John, or if somebody could talk to him, just say you can't make a claim until such and such time, because that's fair. Or he says, you can make a claim as soon as you get the book if you want, if you know what the answer is. Can't wait to put a foot in them hills. What, the hills with eyes? A day ahead and 6 hours back. Wow, I thought there were only 12 hours. I thought it was only 12 hours difference. That's saying there's 18 hours difference. Oh, New Zealand, that is. Yeah, but that's still... Yeah, they get it first, don't they, in New Zealand? Then Australia. Yeah, that's fair enough. Thanks, MJ. You too. Have you got the book? Or are you getting the book or whatever? Are you doing it? I'm an illiterate, apparently. Can someone send me an audio book? Thanks, MJ. Absolutely appreciate you coming. I'd like everybody to take part, not because, it doesn't affect me in any way, but I just think, it's a lot of money. Not just it's a lot of money. There's some cool stuff in those chests. There really is. I was saying to Davey, you have to be careful if you're doing it as a group, because if you find those things, how are you going to spread it? That, just there'll be stuff that people go, oh no, I want that. I want to keep that. I don't want to sell that. I don't want to make money on it. I want to keep it. Or, the people say, oh, I want that piece. No, I want it. No, I want it. So, if you're going to do it as a group, I suppose you'd have to find out what was in the chest that you're looking for, and decide how you're going to, separate it. Otherwise, it could get nasty. And, for anyone, I suppose you'd have to choose which chest you're going for. Maybe the biggest chest doesn't necessarily have the prizes that you want to win. I know it's going to be about the monetary value. I understand that. I'm not lost on that. But there may be something in those chests, like if it was Zozo and there was some, rare records or something in there, you might want to do those. You might want that chest. Some rare CDs or whatever. A signed Beatles something or other. whatever it is. If those things are in the chest, people might might not be about finding the biggest chest. It might be about finding, what's in the chest. And if it actually says, like, this is to find this chest with this in it, if it actually says that, like, to find this chest, this is the information you need. To find this chest, this is the information you need. To find this chest, this is the information you need. Or you could end up finding a chest and you don't know which chest it is. You just end up finding a chest. You don't know which one it is. So. Hey, Larry, how you doing? Everyone get in their mountains during gun season. If you're getting into those mountains, wear your orange high vis. I think that's what you have to use, so people don't mistake you for. But like I was saying, Wyoming, well, all the parks really, but Wyoming, the rangers are saying there's some bad animals in there, saying that the army went in there a few years ago, 1990 something, started 1980 something, going up to 1990 something. Some people going missing and stuff. So just be careful. Wait, some people have books already. Don't start on that stuff. Again, I suppose it is a bit early to have books, I suppose. But if you consider that he's doing some advertising, then there's going to be people that, will get a signed, copy or whatever. I suppose the family will have a copy. I can understand why some people get upset, but, for him not to give anybody a book, like, he has to publish it and not publish it. Yeah, well, no, he has to, what's the word? Promote it. He has to promote it. If he doesn't give anybody a book, how's he going to get promoted? So I suppose some people have a book, but I don't know. I don't know how it works. There are gems in there. There are vinyl. Yes, like I say, depending what's in there will depend on how, who goes for what. But I don't know. I have no idea about this hunt, so I'm gonna have to call it hunt unless people want to call it the chase, like Chase 2, which is what was hinted at the very early on. I don't know if it's going to be like, in this chapter you find this chest, this is what's in it. In this chapter you find this chest, this is what's in it. In this chapter you find this chest, this is what's in it. Or you just have to read the book, find a chest with the information that you're given, and not know, which chest it's going to be. Or it specifically says, you'll find this chest with this information. I don't know. I don't know how it works because I haven't got a book. Over here, the kangaroos have guns. Chat schedules are off. And boxing gloves, Davey B. Yes, there are people with the book already. He asked people if they want $100 or the book. I saw the video. Yeah, but so, like, if you're given that option, well, he gave the book to that bloke in that advert. Like, who are you? I'm John Collins Black. What do you do? I hide treasure. What? Here's the book. There you go. Do you want it? So I suppose there are people that have it, or there are just, adverts that show people having a book. Do you want $100 or the book? Well, the book is going to help me get, 2 million in treasure or whatever. But whether that person really has the book or not, I don't know. And again, I reiterate the fact that those people that are in the chase probably got more of a chance, even if they have it now and they're looking through it. You've probably got more of a chance of getting an answer than they will. Cows have, well, I thought they had udders. But not a gun. Big guns. Oh, big guns. Money, how you doing? And Star, together. Star, that's what they wanted. Doesn't pay to play. How are you doing? Always good to see you in here, Money. Hope you're doing well. I did remember. Scripted. Well, that's how it seems. So, worst case scenario, if you have the Forrest Fenn mentality, I don't think you're going to go too far wrong in the John Collins Black Hunt. I really don't. Honestly, don't. I think the information that's come out so far is very similar. The contradictions, the words, it's all, snow. Similar information from Forrest Fenn that John Collins Black is giving. The simple truth is, you're told you can find 5 chests with 1 book. That's it. What you worried about? Doesn't matter about anything else. You can find 5 chests with 1 book. So you know all the information you need is in that book. But beware, because in that book it might say, well, here's some information that you might need outside of this book or along with this book. It may point you to other places. I don't know if it does, but I'm just saying it may say in the book, this information will be of relevance. Like Forrest said, Google Earth will help, such. It may say that. It may have a puzzle in there that you don't understand. It did say that you wouldn't need to do any, 5, no ciphers, no, the cipher that you have, no, crazy ciphers. So that's a good thing as well. Like, go to his website and look at all the questions that are there, and that will put your mind at rest with a load of stuff that's going on. You read that and it'll tell you, what it's about. So 1 book, 5 chests. You just need the 1 book to find those 5 chests. That's it. I don't see that all of this other stuff is worth worrying about. I don't see that it should put you off being involved in the hunt. I don't think it's like the Blackbeard, bull. I think it definitely is, real. And as far as we say, doable. And any information that comes out now, not relevant. It doesn't matter. If everything is in the book, that's it. Get the book and use the book to find the 5 chests. That's it. If you start getting bogged down already before it starts, you're in real trouble. Real trouble. If all you need is in that book, get the book, try and solve it. But if you do the same things that you did in the Forrest Fenn Thrill of the Chase, I think you're gonna, make a rod for your own back. You're gonna be lost. If you're already lost before it started, man, it's gonna get crazy. Absolutely crazy. When it kicks in, it's gonna get crazy. So pay close attention to detail, which is no different than saying, be precise or simplify or, those things. Pay close attention to detail. Be specific, I suppose, which is, precise. I don't get how it gets, any crazier. Thanks, INFJ. Ooh, 4 thumbs up. That was good. Oh, I've got 5 thumbs up. Thanks. Thank you. I seriously, oh, hang on. I'm missing some stuff. 5 o'clock somewhere. Probably my shadow, my Tash. Thank you. I'm doing great. Looking forward to getting the book. Yes, I think everybody should be looking forward to getting the book. Treasure hunting is off my bucket list. Yes, most people took the $100, but a few took the book. I would take the $100. Yeah, but, excuse me, you could take $100 now or have a book that could get you $2 million. But I suppose if you get the $100, you could buy the book and still have, a bit like, I suppose take the $100. Because if you take the $100, you could then buy the book and still have some money. Unless the book's $100, then you're stuffed. Yeah, I think you're right. Take the $100. Yeah, that's a bit like, take the money or open the box, isn't it? Like you're You're going to win anyway. You're going to win. If you took the $100, buy the book and have some change. All play and no pay makes Tim a dull boy. I'm not dull. I have plenty of non-paying treasure hunts to take part in. Come on, Zozo, join us. I say join us. I'm not even going to take part, to be fair, but that's only because I want to rule myself out, not because I'm not. I don't know. I think the book will be nice. It looks a bigger book than The Thrill of the Chase. And, again, I'll start thinking about Forrest Fenn because that's a well-made book like The Thrill of the Chase is. It doesn't really need that dust cover with the chest on that you could put in your lap. I'm at my budget. Where's this one? But thanks for telling. Times 3 which max a lot equals 5K. Woo! Well, maybe you should sell, a vinyl and make the money for it. Larry, have you been golfing? Oh, not with Donald Trump. That'd be bad news. Might get shot. Maybe the time spent on research will be some knowledge. Might as well try to learn. Research. I speak to an American, and that's all they want to do, research. And I'm like, if all you need is the poem, why'd you keep researching? Why'd you keep showing me research? So that, they show me the research, and I'm thinking, but if you only need the poem, why are you researching stuff? The problem with research is there are no confirmers other than your own imagination of what you think it could be. So me personally, I'm not saying you shouldn't research. Me personally, I would just have the book and just, concentrate on what the book said, because that's all you need. Unless it says you need to look up this fact or this method of this puzzle. So if there's a puzzle in there and you don't know how to do that puzzle, then, probably worthwhile looking up how to do that puzzle. But I think people get lost in all the research and they forget that all the information is right there in front. I don't golf. Where did you go on those trips? I hit the floor. That's what normally happens when I trip. I hit the floor and then I get back up. Just a joke. One coin roll hunt. Looking for actual silver. I collect rare comics, rare vinyl, LPs, and fiber art. I'm fine, Larry. Thanks for thinking of me. Winks. Larry, safer that way. Do you go to the Cape? Oh no, decoding the ode has been retracted. No big deal then. I didn't buy TTOTC until May 2016. Yeah, no big deal. Did you have fun? And answers. My apologies, Ezra. I was testing your knowledge with a D. With a D. I coin roll hunt a lot. I don't know what that means. I coin roll hunt. I don't know what that means. It is like treasure hunting for sure. Oh, yes, I do. I know what you mean. You mean you have them bags, that's what you call it. And then you open them up and you see if there's any rare coins in there. That's what you mean. I haven't done that in years. We used to have bags, not those, like you have a stack. So you stack hunt, don't you? You have a stack of coins and you go through them. That's what you mean, isn't it? You have a stack of coins and you open it up and then you look through the coins and you see if you've got any rare ones. Oh no, Larry's going drinking pina coladas in the rain, having fun at midnight and all that stuff. Larry, our boy passed. Don't know. La picking love a big night. I can't remember where that goes now. I know it's about. I think I remember that it's about a man and a woman, or husband and wife, or partners, and they bid together, and then they put adverts in the paper and they meet each other again. Oh, I didn't know you like that. Which is funny, really. So, basically, this was about, is Ben going to go live? And he said, yes, he is, on the 25th. I still want Mama Q and Ashley to do theirs, but maybe not. This was about JCB or John Collins. So, Alan Kelly's probably, got some good ideas about what to call this hunt or how to abbreviate it or to make it shorter. Like, I suppose JCB's short, but like TTOT, so TC, so TTI, TTI8, so Thai. I'd say the Thai hunt, TTI, whatever. But I suppose we can get all that sorted before it starts. It'll be easier than say John Collins Black hunt. That's just too much for me, and it sounds rude when I say the way I say it. So John Collins Black, John Collins Black, John Collins Black. Oh, I can't say it. John Collins Black's hunt. It doesn't sound that good when I say it. So, what else was I going to talk about? Did I talk about? This. Enough to do with Forrest is, silly to say. We're still waiting on those hairs, aren't we? The hairs that were in the chest. Where were they? Were they in the jar? It's got enough to do with Forrest Fenn. I don't know. But I've been told Forrest hid a chest of gold. Laugh out loud. In his best Forrest Gump voice. I'm not a smart man. Are you laughing at your own jokes, Zozo? Yeah, I get upset when I think about coins. My stepson's got some coins, actually. And they're worth quite a bit. They're like the... So I'd say, most of them are in really, really good condition. There's a few that aren't, but most of them are. And they're worth money just for what they're made of, let alone, what they are. Didn't John say it was a pickle jar? Yes, he did say it was a pickle jar. Which is what I said early on. Like olive jar or pickle jar, it depends what you want to say, but you would have to say pickle jar because it's his hunt. And if he calls it a pickle jar, then it's a pickle jar. And that might have relevance, Pay attention to detail. So the fact that he's called it a pickle jar may be something. So the thing with the Forrest Fenn hunt, this is the last thing I'll say and then I'll go. Forrest initially said to everyone that it was links and chains north of Santa Fe, etc. And people changed it. It's like, why are you changing it? It's information that Forrest gave you. Specific information that is supposed to help you. So if you start changing the information that JCB, John, gives you, then you're doing yourself out of important information. If you start changing the information you're given, that's like, somebody committing a crime and you do a photo fit. The person gives you a photo fit and you go, oh no, I think he had less hair. I think his eyes were blue. I think his nose was smaller. And it's like, well, you're never going to find the person because you've just changed the information you were given. So you need to stick to the information that you're given and pay attention to that or be precise with that information. Don't change it just because it suits you to change it. It's not 8.25 miles north of Santa Fe It's links and chains, or whatever the information that Forrest gave, rods, or whatever those information things were. So all the information that's given may be relevant to the answers. But then you need to, if there were 5 people that committed this crime, or this face that we just had, if there were 5 people, you need to understand that the information is for this character, and this information is for this character, this information is for this character, and this information is for this character. You can't mix them all up, because then it's not going to find anything. So in all of it, whatever it is, I don't know how it's going to turn out. I didn't write the book, I haven't read the book. But however it is, however it's set out, you have to be methodical with it. You have to try and work out the information that you're getting relates to this. That's it. That's where it ends. This information relates to this, and I'm not going to change this information, even if it looks wrong, because this information is like this, because that's how it's supposed to be, and that's what Forrest said about his poem. It had to be, the poem had to be just like, just the way that it was. All the information was aimed at, telling you what it is you need to do. And I think, I don't think that John's hunt, JCB's hunt, will be too dissimilar. I really don't. I don't think it'll be too dissimilar. Jenny! Olives are pickled too. Yes, they are. That's like a sequel. Pickle 1 and Pickle 2. Someone has to laugh at them. Is that a pickle jar in your pocket, or are you just glad to see me? I'm glad to see you. Mr. Jack. Oh no, is that David? David, is that you? Is that Mr. Baizano? I would call it a pickling jar. In a right pickling. So why did David say that he was Jack Stoof, and then say that Jack Stoof was told off for doing a video? I wonder. Why was he told off? It's like, oh, the NDA that Jack Stoof did, he broke his NDA. He was supposed to go in Puerto Rico and shut up, and he didn't. But then he said he was Jack Stoof, which means he's talking about himself, who did a video that he shouldn't have done. And the Fang ghost took ages to appear. I wonder why that was. Silly, silly, silly stuff. But, I use the vlogs for entertainment. I use, chat for entertainment as well. But it is possible to entertain something, which is entertainment, from, the chat and that. But I only listen to one person, like people, and no offense, Charlotte, if ever you see it. I only listen to Forrest. Like, the information that Forrest gives is enough information to understand what's going on. Therefore, I'm not saying it doesn't help, but more as a confirmer than I need that information to help me. Or Davey. So it's just hear the information and go, oh yeah, okay, fair enough. As opposed to, oh, I wonder what that's all about. Which is what hey, Hush, how you doing? Oh, retracted. Don't tell me. You said something nice and you didn't want people to read it, so you took it down. No need to be like that. We don't mind you saying something nice. How you doing? Good to have you here anyway. So, the thrill of the chase, in my opinion, ended. Absolutely ended. And now it's just, Forrest, in whatever medium it's going to come out, is going to, I say give Dale it, because he was speaking to Dale when he said it, that he would know. Like, Dale was concerned that he wasn't going to get any answers, he wasn't going to know what it was. And Forrest assured him that he would. So I'm saying that because Forrest said that, he would have done it anyway, but that information was for all of us to say, look, you're going to get the answers, just not now. So that's going to happen. That is really going to happen. And then that should explode, the JCB hunt. It should. The fact that the Forrest Fenn hunt has finished in the way that it's supposed to finish, make it happen like it's supposed to, that should explode, the JCB hunt, because it proves that it can be done. And if it's being done, and like I say, 4 more than what Forrest Fenn was doing. I know they say 2 million, but the fact there's Bitcoin in there, and it's multiple Bitcoin, whether it be one chest, one in each chest, it would depend how much Bitcoin was worth when you found it. So if Bitcoin goes to $1 million, then one Bitcoin is worth $1 million. So if there's only one Bitcoin in each chest, then each chest is worth $1 million, depending on when you find it and depending on how much Bitcoin goes up. I know it goes down as well, but if it's at 63 now, which is the year I was born, it's not a bad number. But if it's 63 now, if it goes up, if it gets a bull run, a Cody, if it gets a bull run, then it could go whatever. So, and that could be why you can't say how much it's worth, because there are Bitcoin in the hunt. I don't know if there's a Bitcoin in each chest, I'm not going to say that. But if there's Bitcoin in the hunt, there is no way that he can put a specific amount. He couldn't anyway, because, those things are up and down based on who's buying them and whatever. But specifically Bitcoin is changing daily how much it's worth. Up or down, but it's changing daily how much it's worth. So you can't put a figure on it. And depending on how many there are in there, being multiple. So if there's 10 and it's worth 60, that's 600 grand already for, that piece. And if there's more, then it's, obviously going to be more. And if the Bitcoin itself is worth more, so if the Bitcoin is not worth 60 grand, but worth 100 grand, that soon goes up. If it's worth 150 grand, if it's worth 200 grand, depending on when you find it. So it depends how much the Bitcoin is worth as to how much the treasure's worth. And that could, I don't know what's in there. So whatever's in there is obviously, the monetary value is changing. So therefore the statement of how much it's worth can be incorrect and can change. The fact that so much money was spent buying it doesn't mean, it doesn't say when it was bought. And if you said he spent 5 years, then if it was Bitcoin 5 years ago, is worth a lot less than it is now. So if he spent 2 million on Bitcoin 5 years ago, it's worth a heck of a lot of money now. If he bought a Pokemon card 5 years ago, it's worth more now. So, some of the stuff in there is going to be hard to quantify how much it's worth. And if you go to an auction one day with certain people, it may not fetch as much as it did if you went another day with different people. So the card, let's say it's a Pokemon card, it's worth 200 grand. Let's say it is. It's worth 200 grand. People think it's worth 200 grand. Go to an auction and people only pay 150. That's it. That's how much it's worth. Or they pay 600 grand. So what I'm trying to get at is whatever's in the chest, it's up and down how much it's worth. And it could be worth 100 grand more than he thinks it is, 300 grand more than he thinks it is. So it's hard to put a price on how much it is, but the millions on millions could be correct. It would absolutely depend on how long they're out there for. It might be, if it's 2 million, that's a million on a million. And if it ends up 3 million, that's millions on a million. And if it ends up 4 million, that's millions on millions. So you could have 2 million on 2 million, which makes it millions on millions. So, if you're paying close attention to detail, then those are the sort of things you need to be thinking of, that it's not as bad as people are making it out already, because you don't have all the information. That's simply put. It's not as bad as people try to make it out because they don't have all the information. When you get all the information, then it'd be easier to work out if, I don't think there is, if there's any, need to worry. I believe the Forrest Fenn Thrill of the Chase hunt had, discrepancies and contradictions and those sort of things. And I don't think this is any different. And Forrest Fenn's hunt was worth what it was worth and was doable, Forrest said. So I'm thinking the same for this. So, Davy's answered Hush and Hush retracted it. God help you, Hush. We will pray for you. I don't know what that was for. Believe nothing that David P says. No, that's what we were told. David, that's what we were told. And you said you were Jack Stoof. And I believe you're Jack Stoof. And you showed too much of your face. I don't know what you're doing. But, we obviously saw who you were again. Snickers, like he hears you. Is that Snickers or Sniggers? He hears you. Oh, I don't know. Dave can talk loud. Davey, not Dave. The fact that John doesn't know the difference between David and Robert Frost concerns me. Well, see, Larry, you're just... Isn't that what Forrest did? Why would it concern you? It's no different than Hemingway and whoever else that he was confusing him with, or whoever those other people were that he was confusing him with. But Forrest literally did exactly the same thing. Literally, exactly the same thing. Exactly the same. Said something, it's like, no, that wasn't him. Forrest got that wrong. Exactly the same thing. And I think, why should it concern you? This is information that Forrest has given because he made this statement that is obviously wrong. Obviously wrong. And he's, there you go, have this information. And it's exactly the same that's happening with David Frost and whatever. So therefore, there might be information in that. It shouldn't concern you. Although, I suppose it depends which way you mean concern. Concern like, oh, look, there's information there. Or concern like, this is totally wrong. To me, it's like, well, this is what Forrest did. He said, such a author and such an author, for whom the bell tolls or something. Can't remember which one it was now. But it was totally wrong. And everybody knew it was totally wrong. And they're like, well, Forrest got it wrong. And this is what's being done in this hunt. And it's like, well, maybe it's information. So I think he does know David and Robert. And I think, there may be something about that you need to take on board. Someday soon, I'm taking a trip to northern Dallas and El Paso to dig through some Fenn files. Ooh. Are you dropping into the Alamo on the way? Who am I? Oh, that's an Elvis song. It's a good song. Who am I? Listen to it. It's a really good song. Interviewing Nixon is not like writing poetry. Well, if you're talking about John Collins Black, if there is a poem that he's put in the book, then he's a published poet. I don't see the issue with that. If he wrote a poem and it's in his book that's been published, then he's a published poet. I don't see anything wrong with that statement. But Forrest didn't correct it, but John did. But we all know it's wrong, though, don't we? That's what I'm saying. We all know it's wrong. And people that knew it was wrong told him. And if he has corrected it, what was the reason for pointing it out? What is the difference between the two? What do you take from the fact that he's corrected it? And again, I go to the fact that, the statement that I made earlier is it doesn't matter. Even if you take nothing from that, even if you don't understand why he did it, all the information you need is in the book. So if every bit of information that John Collins Black gives is incorrect before the launch of the book, not going to make any difference to finding 5 chests by using the book. And I find that, I would be absolutely amazed if you couldn't find the 5 chests using that book. Even if every bit of information, everything that John Collins Black did before the launch of it was totally wrong and he had to change everything. But I think he's just saying you need to pay attention to detail. So when you get the book, there may be some information in there that is not true. Maybe you need to be aware of that. And then you need to know why it's not true. Like what's the difference between the two? Between what I've said and what is the truth, what's the difference? What am I saying to you? With this information that I gave you, what am I actually saying? So it's possible that you read the book and go, hang on a minute, this information here doesn't make sense. So that's what I'm saying. Not that it should make any difference, but it may help you. It won't make any difference now with the solve, but it may help you when you get the book. Robert knows. The road not taken, and Nixon took the wrong road. Well, that's pretty much what I was just saying, but thanks for that. Ernest Hemingway had hints, as did many of Forrest's incorrection. And that's what I'm saying. This is probably a hint. As Jack Stiff just said, don't take the wrong road. Like, there's going to be information that is in the book that has already been highlighted before the book comes out. I don't mean the same information. I'm saying, look, if you need to pay close attention to detail, here is some information that is absolutely wrong. And then Jack points out what the information is, why it's wrong. So in the book, there may be information that is wrong, and you look at the information and go, oh, well, this is why this information is here, because we're being told this. So what if in the book there's a road? You have to take the right road. Or there's information, you have to pick the right information. Or there is something that alludes to it. Now, you don't need this information now, is what I'm saying. This information will not help you solve the book. But it may help you solve the book. It may help you, but you don't need it. If you ignored everything that was said between now and the book launch, you'd still be able to find the 5 chests, 5 of them, not 1, 5 of them with the book. That's it. So you don't need to worry about anything now, but it may help. And I don't believe that it won't help. I think the information now will help. A bit like Forrest talking about stuff, please touch, continuous, contiguous, chronological, blah, 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 has nothing to do with anything other than it has everything to do with everything. Cheeky. It's cheeky. Many searches were astronomically incorrect. Many were, and that's a true statement. I don't know how it's a correct statement, but I don't know how correct you know that to be. But astronomically incorrect. Jack, picture Nixon holding up 2 arms. Oh, somebody must be armless then, if he's got 2 arms. Sorry. I'm not a crook. There's a crooked man who walked a crooked mile, who found a crooked sixpence. I'm just saying, you don't need the information that's being given now. In my opinion, this is my opinion. This is what I'm thinking. Don't jump up and down. I don't think you need this information that's being given now, which is why I made the statement in KPRO's in chat. The information you need to find 5 chests is in the book. So you get the book and you can find 5 chests. Anything that happens before the book is released is not needed. It may help you, but it's not needed. Like the other book, the child book, may have a clue in it, but it's not needed. So if you want to get lost in all this other stuff, that's up to you. But the statement from the person who's doing the hunt is similar to Forrest. All you need is in the book. All you need is in the poem. It's the exact same statement, except it's slightly different. It's that all you need that is important. That's important. All you need is. So Forrest says it's a poem. That's all you should have focused on. Nothing else. John is saying all you need is the book. That's all you focus on, nothing else. If you start getting bogged down with all the stuff that came before, whilst it might help you, if you're concentrating on that, you're never going to solve the book. So there'll be information in the book that you need to think, hang on a minute, that's not right. Try and work out why it isn't right. Maybe with what Jack's saying, taking the wrong road, maybe that helps somebody, understand it. But you should be able to understand it with just the book. So I wouldn't worry too much about what's happening now, although I would. Myself, I would, try to understand it. But the fact is, you don't need to understand it because the information is in the book that will help you find the 5 chests. That's what is stated. And I suggest to anyone, if you really want to know what's going on in the JCB hunt, is go to the website and go to the bottom and look up all those questions that people are asking about, how to do this. And there's your start. All that information is part of your start about how you get involved in this hunt. And then the other stuff, whilst it may help, I don't think it's too dissimilar to what Forrest Fenn did. I really don't. So in the back of your mind, keep that burning. No, Nixon was holding 2 fingers on each arm. You repeat yourself a lot. That's the sign of a good teacher. You see, when people are in front of you, I say something to somebody, and I do that, and they do that, and I know they understand. But when you can't see anyone, I can't assume that everybody's at the same level. Everyone's at the same level. I can't assume that. So therefore, I have to assume, well, not assume, deduce that if I don't repeat it or go in circles, if I don't do that, chances are they didn't hear what I said. And I know from experience, people don't hear what's said, which was my argument earlier. Not argument, but my, frustration. That Forrest can say all of this stuff. I hear it, I say it to you, and you say I'm wrong. And I'm thinking, well, I've just repeated what Forrest said. How is it I'm wrong? Tell Forrest he's wrong. He's the person that said it. He said all you need is a poem. He said words don't mean what you think they do. He said nothing is as it seems. He said a little imagination. He said have it nailed down. He said all the things that I'm saying, and people are telling me I'm wrong. I'm thinking, how am I wrong? I'm just telling you what Forrest said. So if you have any problems with what I'm saying, have a word with Forrest and say, Forrest, you said, if you know the home of brown, why worry about warm water salt? No, if you have the home of brown, why are you worried about warm water salt? If you know the home of brown, why are you worried about the blaze? I never said that. Forrest said it. And it can only mean, I'm saying that it can only mean this. This is all it can mean. If you have the home of brown, why are you worried about your first clue? That's what he might as well have said. If you have the home of brown, why are you worried about your first clue? Because you, Forrest, said, if you don't have, begin it where warm water's halt, you have nothing. No. You said if you don't have begin at where warm water's hot nailed down, you have nothing. No, if you don't have begin at where warm water's hot, you might as well stay home and play canasta. Which must mean the home of brown and warm water's hot. If you know the home of brown, why are you worried about the blaze? Because that's where the chest is, Forrest. That's what you said. You said, if you've been wise and found the blaze, look quickly down your quest to cease. So if I find the blaze, that's where the chest should be. Oh, hang on. So if I have the blaze, the home of brown, warm water's hole, you put all those together, Forrest. You put them all together. It's all one thing. So if I have the blaze, I know warm water's hole. That's what you're telling me, Forrest. If I have the blaze, I have warm water's hole. And if I have the blaze, I have the chest. Because the last clue is the most important. That's when you have the chest. And you won't know you have the correct warm water's hole until you have the chest in your hands. But I have the blaze, which gives me warm water's hole. When I go to warm water's hole, I get the chest, and then I have the chest in my hands. And I know that because it's nailed down. It's quite simple, really. So the information I'm giving you has come from Forrest. And I'm telling you there's only one way to interpret that information. There's only one way. There was only ever going to be one spot. Like, not 9. There was only ever going to be one spot. It's like, how can you not interpret that information in that way? There was only ever going to be one spot. If you have the blaze, if you have the Homer Brown, and you have warm water's halt, nothing in between. The blaze, warm water's halt. The blaze, warm water's halt. The blaze, warm water's halt. What's in between those two? The Homer Brown. If you have the Homer Brown, you can go right straight to it. So I don't see how difficult that is. I really don't. And I imagine that other people should be, oh, great, yeah, that's it. That's the answer. That's how simple it is. It's done. I don't know how people don't see it and turn around and say, no, I have the solve, I have the solve, I have the correct solve. My solve is about, 60,000 comics and all of these statements that have been made in those comics. And I don't know. But what if, you could drop on one of JCB's answers by one of the solvers in the Thrill of the Chase? What if the comics is the solve for JCB? That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? And now we all know what it is because Dave's told us. I'm not saying that's what it is, but I don't know. What if it's, 5-leaf? What if it's lost in thought? What if it's Bill's solve? What if it's trusted solve? You don't know. Now, the reason why it can't be, well, it can be, but it can't be in Wyoming. There can't be another solve in Wyoming. Well, there can be another solve in Wyoming. Because he said in the United States. So, across the United States, could that be Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico? That's across the United States, isn't it? Do you think? That's across the United States. There was Idaho and Utah, but that's not across the United States. Now, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, literally across the United States, aren't they? Or do you count Canada? No. So I'd say that's literally across the United States of America, isn't it? Going that way, that way, that way. So going up and down, that means one more chest. I don't know. But they're just thoughts. They might have nothing to do with anything. But that's literally across though, isn't it? From one place to another. I think you find it harder going that way, of course. Unless you went from Toledo across. Is anyone familiar with Marietta Wetherill? Not Marietta. Richard and Clayton couldn't cover the ransom. And Dave Woodall's solve is all about Kent and Esther. Must mean he has not nailed down. Yeah, it's just. I mean, when you think about it, this is just about nailed down. Like literally, you just had to have it nailed down. That's it. If you can understand that, you can understand what it is. The ransom was 2,000 in silver dollars. Okay, Larry, I have Wetherill in my research. Uh-oh. Hey, he's here. Talk of the devil. Jack Stoof is correct. I don't know what that says. Does it say Robert knows? Jack Stoof is correct. This Jack Stoof, like David Paisano that we've got in chat now, is he correct? I thought he was going to get told off for being a DNA. An NDA. I think the one person we know is definitely correct is Forrest. He made it happen. If, when the Forrest chase ends, then all eyes will probably turn to, the John Collins Black mystery tour, as it were. And that promise of new discoveries, will, whether it's related to Forrest or not, doesn't matter. It's still a promise of new discoveries. And if you're not interested in having hundreds of thousands of dollars, I don't know. I just don't get that. I don't get why people are not interested in having hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't get it. Even if it's not millions, and I think it will be millions, but even if it's not, even if you took 2 million, it's still 400,000. Like 2 million each chest, it's $400,000. Got to be worth, a punt, hasn't it? But like I say, if there is Bitcoin in there, the price changes, and it could be worth, if it's multiple Bitcoin. If it was only 50 grand and there was 10, that's 500 grand. Then you factor in all the other stuff that can change prices. Zozo will tell you sometimes you could have, rare items that are worth more, but then, at some point they might, get devalued, not worth as much because more of them are found. There's more of them. And sometimes they're worth more because there becomes less of them. One of them's lost, or damaged, or, 3 of them are owned by one person, there's only 2 in circulation, whatever, wherever the case may be. It was Doug Preston's hunt. Forrest was just the front man. And it doesn't matter whose hunt it was. That's, I don't get why people worry about all these things. That doesn't change the answer. That doesn't change the worth of it. That doesn't change the fun and the excitement and the adventure that you had in it. It doesn't matter who something is, and it's impossible to believe that it was Forrest Fenn because of the hairs. It's not Forrest Fenn in the way that we know Forrest Fenn. That's not the case. It never was the case. It couldn't be, because there'd be no need for the hairs. So to even have a go at Forrest Fenn, to even try to sue him or the family, it's like, it's not Forrest. How can you even be thinking about suing the person who put hairs in the chest to prove who the person was that did it? It's like, it's not Forrest. There's no need to put the hairs in the chest to prove the person that did it. So therefore, if you're going to sue anyone, sue the other person that the hair belongs to. Don't sue Forrest, because it's obviously not Forrest. Otherwise, you want to put the hairs in the chest. I don't know how much simpler that can be. There's a person who's standing in front of you saying, these hairs were they in the olive jar? Nothing to do with JCB, but these hairs are to prove who did this crazy thing, or hid this opulent cash, or whatever he said. So if those hairs are to prove who it was, it isn't Forrest. There, we can see Forrest, who Forrest is. So we know it's not him. We know it's not him. He's already said it's not me. These hairs are to prove it's not me. He's already told us that. So for anybody to think that they should sue Forrest Fenn, it's like, what? He just told you it's not him. Along with, who is the real Forrest Fenn? Lorraine Mills asked him, who's the real Forrest Fenn? Well, if I told, hope nobody ever finds out. It's like he's telling you, don't worry about me. Worry about the real me, who the real me is. What, the real me is Douglas Preston? Well, that don't make sense. Who is the real Forrest Fenn? Douglas Preston. Well, isn't Douglas Preston the real Douglas Preston? Could be right. I'm not saying you're not right. I'm just saying, look, this is simple English. Simple statements that say, don't worry about me, this person holding these hairs. Don't worry about me. Worry about the person who these hairs belong to. Because these hairs are going to prove the eccentric, whatever he said, person that, did this opulent cash, whatever he said. These hairs are to prove that person. Don't worry about me. Worry about who these hairs belong to. I hope nobody ever finds out, but worry about that person. It's like, God, he tells you to your face what the answer is, and you just ignore him and then go off, wherever you go, whatever thoughts you have. It's just crazy, crazy stuff. Forrest never knew where it was hidden. What? Well, that's probably why he couldn't tell anyone. That might be why Douglas knew, well, that's too easy for us. Don't worry, nobody's going to find it for 1,000 years. Correct. Rarity does not necessarily mean value. No, it doesn't. So the Forrest could not give an amount for his treasure. I've said all these things before. I can't believe that people don't hear it. He couldn't give an amount for his treasure, but he did say, listen, please listen. When it gets to 10 million, if it gets to 10 million, I might go and take it back. What? Forrest, you just said that you couldn't give an amount for it. You couldn't tell how much it was worth. Why not? But now you're saying, that this treasure that's only worth 1 million, before you die, it's going to be worth 10. This treasure that you're talking about, that's only worth 1 million, before you die, it's going to be worth 10. Or are you talking about something else that's going to be worth 10 million, and you're going to get it back when it's worth 10 million? Oh, hang on, isn't that how much JCB's hunting is worth? Or is it something else? But you have to understand that that's what's said. It's never going to be worth, this chest is never going to be worth 10 million in Forrest Fenn's lifetime. Probably not in the 1,000 years, if it's just this treasure that's been hid. Probably not in the 1,000 years that Forrest is talking about. Is it going to be worth 10 million? He's certainly not going to be alive to take it back or to go and get it himself or whatever he said. Not going to happen. It's like, this is simple English. A simple statement that says, what am I talking about? What am I talking about? If it gets to 10 million, no, that's not going to happen. It's not going to get to 10 million. This chest that Forrest talked about is not going to get to $10 million ever in his lifetime. He's telling you something and you're just not hearing it. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Well, I thought I said Boeing. That was part of information as well. What if FF put Doug's hair in the chest? His chest hairs, yes, his chest hairs. Supply and demand dictates value for rare items. People will pay what they want. Exactly, and it could be, like I said, it could be worth less, or it could be worth more. Or rabbits, chest rabbits, they could be. Being $400 short, Richard Weatherall supplemented the ransom with 22 horses. Say you were walking on the beach one day and found 10 Spanish coins that were being transported long ago. Sunken ship. Would you tell others you found 10 or only found one? Saying you found only one. Yes, exactly. I only had one of them. And then when they buy it from you, say, oh, look, I found another one. So now there's only two. And like a fisherman, you yell them. You found it 3 kilometers away. Yeah. Whiskey for me and beer for the horses. Never scale a big fish where you caught it. Determine if country antiquity laws will be the first step in the process. Davey's got the right idea. Some countries, it is illegal to find and own in secret artifacts found in the no matter how they were found. The value of the thrill of the chase is in the eye of the beholder. That's the greatest of all time. Good night, Mr. Maris. Oh, I wish you knew. I wish I knew as well. Thanks, imagination. I wish I knew. It's in the eye of the beholder. Richard Weatherall not only found 22 turquoise disc beads at Mesa Verde for the bracelet, he paid 2,000 ransom with 22 horses along with silver dollars. Ooh. As long as he didn't give them to Judas, we're all right. In the US, found on a beach, finders keepers is the law of the land. Ooh, is that the case? Ooh, let's all go metal detecting. You're not allowed to metal detect on the beach. What if you found it? Hang on a minute, hang on. Let's just do this and I'm going. What if, Zozo, remember the tide comes in and goes out? What if you swam when the tide was in, so as far as it could go in, and you were swimming and you found it then in the water? So, I don't know, say the tide came in a mile and you were swimming in the water and you found all of this treasure. Would it still be the same rule? Or do you have to find it while walking on the beach itself? If you find it in the water, it's different. Because it's still the beach. It's just that the tide's in. When the tide goes out, you could actually be walking and find it. Same as Australia, Zozo, but you must have a license. See, that changes it as well. You need a license to thrill of the chase, a license to thrill. Thank you for coming in, Mr. Imagination. always interesting. Not only found 22. I think that was the word that Forrest used when he was talking about something. I sent him an email saying, "Why are you giving people the answer?" I'm sure it was Verde, and that was when he was talking about, or could have been talking about, New Mexico, the Red River bit. Could have been. I think, where was I in New Mexico? So we'll talk to somebody in New Mexico, and the Red River. So if anybody knows New Mexico and the Red River area, there's is it Lone Star Hotel or something, or Yellow Rose? Yellow Rose. Oh, I can't remember what it was now. And there's a sweets shop, a candy shop. What was it called? Like the Candy Ann. So it's something to do with candy. And then there was Elvis's car or something stuck in a wall. I don't know, there's lots of different things. Oh, so many different solves. It's crazy. Crazy. What was that one? There's a foundation. There's a foundation. Where's that? Can't remember what that is either. So if Red River's there, you come down south, across here somewhere is Taos. But there's this foundation on the other side of that river that Forrest said it wasn't. What river was that? Oh, what river was it? I can't remember what the name of the river was now. The one that's south of the Red River, or joins the Red River, or whatever it is. And Forrest says it's not that side, it's not on that river, which is west. That river, anyway. But the foundation is this side, and then there's that ski resort, isn't there? If you go further in, that's another side of the ski resort. Then, we've done that. Obviously, the Adobe, which it wasn't, not the Adobe, because that's a place where people go. Then there was, the Bent. Don't forget him. That was another solve. Bent. He's in New Mexico. Obviously, they can get all the others. George O'Keefe and all that. Yeah, I've got to run off to bed as well. Thanks, Larry, for reminding me that it's 3:00 in the morning. Thanks everybody for coming in. Thanks for the likes. Appreciate it. Thanks for the chat. It doesn't matter, I enjoy everybody's chat really. I don't mind, coming across as frustrated. I'm just trying to get what Forrest Fenn said. No different. Finders keepers. Oh, snorkeling or diving in shallow ocean is free. Oh, I'd enjoy doing that. I used to. Where was it? I could show you them all now, but I'm not going to. Like all the shells that I found through Yvonne, they're over there. But so she used to like shells. I used to get diving in and get the shells, all different sorts of shells, and put them in a bowl where the lamp is. So when you put the lights on and the water shines on them. I don't use a snorkel though. I just and then fight against the pressure to try and get further down. The only thing about that is when these people use those pedalos, like when you're coming back up, you have to make sure there's nobody going above you. And every now and again, you see something that you don't like a little octopus or big fish or something. It's like, oh, all right, get out. Thanks, Larry. Say hello to Oksana. Cheers, buddy. Antiques 2, regulated. Anything. See ya. Gotcha. Yes, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. The secondary market is very robust in, don't know, on many things, antiques, historical stuff, toys, coins, etc. No permits required unless you are a dealer or retail. License rules here allow both permissions and legal fines. However, private property needs written permission from the legal owner. This eliminates legal arguments. So, thanks ever much. Thanks for the likes. Thanks, 20 people that are here. Look forward to Ben going live, looking, like 20 years younger, without his beard on, I suppose. The news of news. I don't think anybody should be put off by what's happening in John Collins Black. 7 likes. Thank you. Should not be put off by what's happening with John Collins Black. I think, it will probably take some sort of, thrill of the chase similarities going forward. And it's just a way of saying, look, this may be important, this may be important. If you understand this, this may be important. If you understand this, it may be important. Pay attention to detail. Benny Hill, is Benny back? Benny's back again. Who's Benny? Benny Hill? Jack Stoof. Well, if this is... So, there's obviously going to be news. Before I go, there's obviously going to be news. Ben is going to do something that says news of news. Cynthia's going to do something about a solution. Blah, 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 blah. Jack's been a naughty boy, didn't stay in Puerto Rico. Blah, 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 whatever. There's going to be information coming out. Literally, there's going to be information coming out. And that would depend on what the information is. But I'd say October 5th, might be something going on there. So October 5th or 6th. 6th. October 6th. Might be something there. October the 31st, really important date, I think. So many days to get to October 6th. October 1st is important. The 21st is important, obviously 10/21. There's information that could come out that would help you understand bits and bits and bits and bits and bits. Or there's information that's going to help you understand, lots. Not sure if Forrest played his whole card. He still said he had that to play. Could be interesting. So, lots of things that could happen. Information definitely coming out. I think it's all looking good. Benny. Oh, Ben. Benny. Yes, Ben is back on the 25th. He's confirmed that he's back on the 25th. He's going to be doing a show. It's still going ahead. So it's all good. Mario is the new Napple. No. I could never fill them shoes. More fun and answers. Yeah, so, he said there will be news about news. I think that's how he put it. News about news. So he can't give you the news, but he can give you the news about there being news. And I would assume that he's had a shave or having a shave. So, Davey, I'll speak to you today later when I wake up. And the rest of you have a good night and sleep well. I know I'm going to. So ciao for now. And thank you, Major Forrest Fenn, wherever you are.